But I think I know what this is, so.
But I'm not doing it. I hope.
Tammy, I have 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Did everybody have a chance to review the previous minutes?
I did.
Were there any?
We accept the minutes as.
No, it's fine.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
I second the motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
I abstain because I was not here for that meeting.
4-0, one abstain. Finances. Since he's not here to give us an overview,
He is here.
he is here.
He's talking to.
Okay,
He's causing problems again.
okay.
Speak, Josh kept,
If we want to look over it quickly before he,
Josh kept the cover, I think, for those.
yeah, if you want to look through those.
Yep.
At your.
At your leisure.
Yeah. Now he does have the new,
As far as finances, had some, possible investors visit the building. On Sunday. And, one of, the people there was, an alumni. And they purchased some chairs for $100. Since $400. Question of whether we put that.
I think that would be a. Can we do that under board business other? Can you just make a note to bring that back up?
Guys, back. You're making it difficult for me to hear the guy next to me. Can you guys please?
Well, we had an agenda too about the police thing. Just to review it under others.
Under.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's.
If you could bring that up during the regular update, and then Todd has others, police patrol or.
Whatever. We can talk about that.
Well,
Yep.
Good evening. How are we doing today?
Evening, I'm doing okay. Everybody okay?
We're doing so far.
Everybody see the eclipse?
Sun came back out. We're all still kicking.
It was good that it came back. The end of the world.
Thankful.
Had that feeling for a little while, didn't it?
Kind of eerie.
Yep.
The world did not end.
The world didn't end.
I don't know if we kept spinning or the moon kept going. One of the two happened. All right, so what we budgeted. The percent that we've spent.
Are you waiting for me to speak?
that-
Sorry.
So is that the way I'm looking at this? This is,
Yeah, let me just give you a brief overview. Because this is what, and I don't know that all of you were here when I suggested that there might be a different way we could create the same report that you guys have been seeing without double entry is really it. And it's not a criticism of the way it was done. I think you had to do it that way for many years probably, but this is kind of coming from directly where all the numbers are, which is in QuickBooks. And the numbers are all the same. If you look at I did both of them for the town this time around, as I told you, where I did it both ways so you could kind of see the numbers. And I know it's a lot of numbers to look at, but the bottom line numbers, the total expenses is the same on both reports. They're really all the same information. Just the new one, the data doesn't have to get re-entered into a different spreadsheet to tally it all together. And the differences are the numbers are the same, but on the old report, you had a column that was amount remaining,
yep,
which is now just called over budget. So it's the same number. It's just a negative number if you're under budget. But if you look at, you can compare at your leisure between the two.
Yep.
The other thing that the new report adds that I find helpful is just a column you can glance at real quickly, which is the percent of budget. That if you're sitting here at the end of March, you can kind of look down the column, and if it says 800 or 751%, well, maybe there's a grant coming in for that. Maybe I've got it in the wrong place, but it's just an easy way to draw your eye to something that might be off. The third thing that I added to this, which was, well, last time around, we were talking about the direct tax. Some of us were a little befuddled by that, including myself, which in talking to the people that know of such things, Kathy and Vera and Tammy to some extent, that's all stuff evidently that you vote for on town meeting day. And previously, everything that you spent that was directed into one of those numbers that you voted for specifically, all went into one dump kind of, that was just a direct tax. So I just added all those accounts or additional accounts that had the actual amounts that you voted for.
Yep.
Because for me at least, and maybe for you, it's easier for me to know that,
What they are.
well, I don't know what part of that direct tax is anything, and now you can kind of get the total for the whole thing, or the individual ones like the repair fund, stuff like that. So the big reason for that, or for this new one, which again, I said before, is just that you don't have to do anything extra. You're putting the information in once from all your signed warrants and confirming things with bank accounts. The report you've been doing, or been seeing, it just requires that everything kind of gets re-entered from the warrants into this huge spreadsheet to tally it all up a second time.
In looking at that,
Yeah,
can you do me a favor? Maybe just make a note under equipment repair fund.
yeah,
The way we budget for that, we probably only voted in 28,000,
yep.
but that is to bring the total back up to 35.
So you have a leftover
So there's been a
carryover.
leftover
Okay,
amount
yeah.
from the previous year. Can you just double check that for me?
Yeah, no, I can do it, and I can make any adjustments to this that you see are off. That was really just a stab from,
No, yeah, that, I really like that. That makes a lot of sense.
but yes, I can.
Just maybe double check, like I know the bridge repair fund. We vote in 10,000 every year, but the bridge repair fund has a significant amount more than that because it's for matching grants.
Yep.
It's over 86,000.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, so
Same
no,
thing with The,
if you're okay with me fine tuning some of those from
Yep.
your suggestions,
No,
then
yeah. that would be excellent. It'd make it a lot easier to
absolutely, no,
see
that's
what
a-
we've got and.
yeah, and anything else, if we need to break it out, it just makes it easier because everything is in one place. So if you need a new expense account, you don't have to add it in 2 or 3 different places, and everything's kind of confirmed both from your warrants when the checks are cut and the bank reconciliations, and there's just a lot less room for error.
Yep.
And everybody's looking at the same thing, auditors, you guys, me, so it's easier to drill down to a number if there's a question.
Yep, no, it makes it, yeah, definitely draws your attention to stuff quicker.
And if you're, sorry.
No, you're fine. That's just somebody joining the
Yeah,
meeting. Yep.
Yeah, all right.
Just a quick glance.
And if you're okay with that, I was just gonna do that for all 3 of our primary accounts, which are the road and the town. This is the town one, and the library, which I'm sure somewhere hidden, I haven't discovered it yet, is the budget for the library, which I hadn't seen yet, that I'll include
Yep.
for next time around.
Which the library probably has, correct? Right.
Well, they told me they voted a year ahead of time, I think.
Right.
Yes.
So
I'm sure it's on the
yeah.
computer.
It's online.
I'm sure it's on the computer. I just hadn't gone looking for it. And I'm sure Vera would tell me exactly where it is, so I'll find it.
We can find it.
Natalie has it, so if you need it, and if she can't find it, I can.
I'll look first, because I'm guessing Vera was very meticulous, so I bet it's somewhere right in front of my face on the
And-
computer.
And when you do this with the roads, maybe just pull Mac in for an hour or two and just, that way, if there's anything that rolls over in your road account, that we get that in here as a correct
Yeah,
number.
exactly, so that if anything
So,
doesn't make sense or I put the wrong numbers in, you can just let me know and
yep,
and we can doctor it up to meet your needs, really.
looks good to me.
That was exhibit A, the minor detail. We finally got all the signatures on all the other bank accounts switched over. TD Bank was a little bit dysfunctional compared to Community Bank. But I think everything is all set now on that. So myself and Jennifer Sanchez are the signees or signatories or whatever it is on that. And all the other accounts, I think, we're already good. John and I are on those. I updated that list of accounts with all of our names and stuff. And QuickBooks, I'll just get QuickBooks done probably the beginning of this month. I was gonna do that last month.
I was gonna say, I didn't see anything.
No,
so-
you didn't, because it falls in my court. And
Oh, good.
we have until the end of May before the payroll changes and we have to have an update in place. It was the end of the quarter and I was kind of thumbing through all the stuff I had to do for the end of the quarter,
I got you.
tax wise and stuff. And that one's on the list. I don't think it'll take long to install the updates, just a matter of paying for it, making sure we're agreed on what we're paying for the subscription and stuff. And
Okay.
we'll make sure that's done in the next week.
Any other questions for this?
First one.
Yep.
Trying to figure out how many pages in this. It's right around salaries. Town expenses, salaries,
For the town or for road?
town.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if this is in the wrong spot. The select board, it's showing $240. Was that because of town meeting day?
Shouldn't have been. What that might have been, would have been paying Terry for the meetings from January first to March.
Is that what it
Yes,
was?
I think that's it. I was gonna say, I'm not sure, but that number sounds like the one that I remember her being one of the checks, so I'm pretty sure that
Right.
was whatever time she was here.
Oh, I was just wondering, because normally we don't see that this time of year. I just-
Yeah, no, good question.
Yeah.
And then very likely that I could have had it in the wrong place, but I think that would be there if it was indeed her, right?
Yeah.
So I'll double check on that.
Yeah, the only other thing I could think it would be is when, for the ones of us that worked counting ballots, which would actually go under BCI.
Yeah, that's BCA.
That's what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
saying that would be seeing the three of us were counting ballots that they thought was, oh, well, but I don't think
Yeah.
it was even.
No, I'm almost certain that what you said is true and I can double check, but probably just a one and done to finish up.
Yeah, I was talking when we counted the ballots at the end of the night, those of us that showed up that were on the select board. I was just wondering if that's right where that money.
And I think you're right. I think they'll
Yeah, there were very
BCA.
many of us there, were there?
There were three, I think.
Yeah.
One of us wasn't even on the select board at that moment, but the ballots were being counted for her.
Sorry, I could have been here, but.
I don't want your
much use.
sickness. Yeah. Thank you. You can keep your sickness at
I
home.
do have a question. if
Yes,
I may.
yep,
Well, actually, it's not
absolutely.
so much a question for you, it's for the board, because I'm
Yep.
assuming this was done before I came along.
Yes.
So these percentages I really like. My brain works this way, so that's
Yes.
really helpful.
Yeah, no.
And I
agree.
drawn straight to the Brigham residents,
So-
751.
It's reimbursed by grant.
So we put in an amount
Yep,
as a placeholder, basically. We spend out of it, we're reimbursed from a grant.
grant.
So it's.
Yeah.
There's no easy way to do that without it showing this.
yep.
It's,
I
it's,
figured it was straightforward.
Yep.
I had the same question, actually. I said, well, I'm guessing someone's gonna tell me I've got that in the wrong place, or there's something's gonna be coming in to cover it.
And actually, that's a cumulative for the last 3 years. So this doesn't represent all of the monies that we've expended that will be we will be reimbursed for.
I see.
So.
And then the only other thing I had was page 2.
Yep.
The electric office, should that be put under other?
no,
Electric
what
office
happened
other?
is when we had budgeted electricity for just one set, I'm pretty sure. So the electricity is all in one spot.
Well, so the way this reads though, actually I changed it a little bit because in the QuickBooks version, you can create a group item or a group account. So I put both of the individual ones under one account, so your budget for the total could be in there.
Right.
The way it displays though, the budget amount shows under that other one.
Right,
And then
Okay.
just for the budget number. And then it shows you the individual ones with the expense. So there would never be an expense under other, if that's the question.
yep.
So
It's only there because that's the way it prints out. If you've got a group item that is budgeted, but isn't really, the expenses are under the subtotals, if that makes sense.
So out of the entire 1,500, we've spent 361.25.
Uh,
It's just the percentage isn't gonna, well.
Well, the
Oh, plus
electricity, other,
Yeah,
plus 185.
yeah, exactly. They're both on two different pages. The 185 plus the 361 is really
it's common.
totaling together as the 546.38, really is total electricity that you spent between the two, and the total budget
Yep.
is the 1,500, which just pops out as other.
I see it.
And just to avoid confusion, under electricity, the first one you have cemetery.
Yeah.
Can we switch that to town common?
Yeah, I think you
So-
told me that last time. and I was like,
Just
well,
so just so people aren't thinking that,
that you're doing, and
you know, all those people running around.
Town
at
common
night.
it is.
Yeah.
And the other thing with this is I can change that in one place. If we're looking at a report that's coming from one place, it just doesn't have to propagate to 3 different spreadsheets or anything
Yeah.
like that. And again, there's no criticism of the way it was done, just to be clear.
Can you change the order of these? Like if you, could you put the budgeted first, then spent year to date?
I don't know that I can. I
Okay.
was looking at that. It might just have to be this way.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, there's
Just
some
for-
things.
just
in
for
QuickBooks-
flows.
Yeah, there's some
Reading would
things
be a
that,
little
yeah,
easier.
They're canned reports.
some things you'd think you could do and you can't,
Yep.
and other things that, wow, this is nice that you can do this, and it's a weird mix sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if I can, if I can, I will.
Perfect. I have no other questions. Was there any others?
I have no questions.
No,
Looks good, Tom.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yep.
No, you're welcome. And I'll get the other ones together and get back to John. We'll get the QuickBooks thing all squared away, the subscription. for the-
Yep, he has the board approval to handle that, so you
Last time, so he was just waiting on me.
Yep.
For that, so.
It's all
We're
good.
good.
Good to go.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Paul.
Have a great one.
Thank you, too. And I'll try and get your other answer.
Thank you.
I do not see SJ here at this time. Sorry, Sarah Joe,
No,
to discuss the website. She did send an email. Did that come to the group email? Okay.
so.
That just, oh,
Don't think.
Covers it, yeah, overall.
I didn't think I sent it, yeah.
they gave an outline. I think she sent it to everybody individually if she could.
No, I didn't see
No.
it.
You didn't get it? Okay.
No. That's fine.
I'll just make this available and if everybody wants the,
You don't need a.
Yeah, if you could make copies for everybody, that would be excellent. And then everybody can just take a look at it. And if she shows up, she'll go over it. If she does not, I know she's probably out of town for observations.
Yep.
Of everything. So, next up is the listers. You want me to open this now, Pat?
Break the seal.
I'm getting these when they come. Yeah, oops, sorry, that fell into the garbage. You're gonna have to. I have a copy. I need more papers.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tam.
That's stuck to the table. I want you to be the one talking. Oh, I have to be the one talking. You're the chairperson.
Oh, that's true. Okay,
Would you like to read?
we have a couple of things.
Yep.
First up, is about Mr. Evans.
Which,
Don't believe the words.
Well, what if,
As you know, I prefer to drop my resignation. For no good reason, except that, I think that when I came on the board, there was a shortage, there were only 2 listers and nobody ran for the office. Ran to the office to help out. And, I enjoyed it. It was a good place to work. But it's really a career and I'm 70. It takes by the state is that it's gonna take at least,
It's going to take about 3 years to get on the job training, and this is a part-time job, so, and
It's 6 years probably.
so I think by the time it would be of any value to the, as a real assessor lister in this town, I'd be ready to call it a day. So, I'm glad to do what I can to help. There's a lot of computer stuff that I am as dumb as a post when it comes to, and seem unteachable in some regards too. So it isn't a job that requires holding a tape and writing down some numbers and multiplying by $6 or whatever is how it's done. So I've enjoyed it, and I will be glad to stay on until you can find somebody qualified to replace me, even more qualified to replace me.
well, we don't like to accept resignations.
Well, we can't until you come up with a replacement. So
that's so, you know.
Just so.
We do have somebody who's interested.
Okay,
Tammy.
oh, cool. There you go.
Yeah.
So
Is that an official, are you looking to appoint Tammy to that position?
we are,
If she's
Okay.
willing.
if
to
she's
accept.
willing.
Do we need? Since both parties are here, I think we can do it verbally, correct? If she wasn't here, we'd need it in written form from her.
Yeah.
But with both parties here, I think we can accept that as an appointment.
Josh, I would make the motion, we accept the resignation from Pat. Thank you very much for your work.
I'll second Pat's resignation.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept Pat's resignation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
nobody hurts.
Again, thank you.
I move the motion that we accept the nomination.
The appointment.
Accept the appointment
Yeah.
of Tammy Brennan as a new lister for the town of Bakersfield.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Tammy didn't say anything, so we're right there. Okay.
Now, one thing, is she's gonna have to run for the remainder of Pat's term if there is this, I don't know when he was up for reelection, but.
Yeah, so at the next
At the
next
next-
meeting, yeah.
Right,
Yeah, so we're appointing for the remainder of this term, the remainder of this
this
year.
year, right.
Just so that's clear for everybody.
So you got time to change your mind at the end of the
Well, you
year.
made that pretty easy for us, so I'm hoping the rest of it's just as easy here.
Well, we do have two proposals for reappraisal. One from Tyler Technologies, one from Nemrick. But Nemrick, although it is somewhat cheaper, it's 81,000. Tyler Technologies is 87,400. Nemrick won't be done until 2028.
Oh.
Versus Tyler, which will be done in 2026. Which I think is a substantial time
Yeah,
frame.
I
to
agree.
think about.
I
Yeah,
would
I
agree
would
with that.
agree with that too.
And
The two numbers were again, please.
Nemrick is 81,000.
Talking
Oh, thank you.
6,400.
Yeah, it's right here. Thank you.
Honestly, it was $6,400.
66.
Yeah.
Huh?
Isn't it?
No, 60.
64.
Oh, okay. I need to wrong.
Sorry, math.
History.
So, honestly, I think if we were to get that done a year earlier, the difference that the taxes would be, could be less than that.
Yes, I agree.
With the CLA being.
Yeah.
what it is.
I think if we were to go with a year earlier time schedule.
It's actually done 2 years earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 2 years early.
Their start dates were a year apart. So they're saying it's gonna take them 2 years and they're saying they can get it done
You won.
in under a year.
1 year.
Yep.
Does the state require it to be done by a certain?
People?
No,
Yeah, the
time frame.
Time
she's
frame, does it
asking.
have to be done by a certain, and?
Well, because there's so many towns that have to do reappraisals, they're gonna be happy to know that we've
It-
gotten the time.
They've kind of extended the deadline because of COVID. It extended deadline because of COVID and stuff
Oh.
like that, if I remember right.
Yeah, it's really, there's so many because of
Right.
all the increases in the selling of properties
right.
because of COVID.
And it's my understanding that the laws that they, now the new laws that they have in place, it's gonna be every 6 years that you're gonna have to do a reappraisal. So that won't start until we get this one
This one
done.
done, right?
And I think technically, Nicole, we were probably supposed to be done about 3 to 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Based on our percentage.
Right,
There was a threshold that we weren't supposed to fall below.
right, it's 80%, yeah.
And we are below that, and by this time we will be,
Usually.
well
the
below
time when
it,
I
so,
start, but we're not getting past
um,
with this one. Yeah,
What is in the reappraisal fund right now? How much?
That I don't know, because I asked Tom and he didn't pull it up quickly, so.
well, I think we're on our second year.
Like 20,000.
We have, yeah. So I think last year we transferred, I believe.
Pretty good amount,
It was like
yeah.
16,000.
yeah,
Voted in another 10
Yeah.
and then another 10 this year, which would put us around 36,000 out of the 80.
We just got some money from the state.
Right.
Like 7,000.
Okay, so we'd be roughly $42,000 in it right now.
so we're halfway there.
We would need,
basically.
yeah, we'd need another 45,000
Right.
to complete that. Now, I'm assuming this isn't an upfront fee. like-
Yeah, 15%.
15%, which we have the 15%
Right,
to pay off, right off.
right.
That would give us two more years of town meeting. So we could space that out over the next 2 years, bump it up to 20,000
Right.
for 2025 and 2026.
Right.
And we'd be covered. For the-
For how they're paid, but I know it's 50% on contracts.
It doesn't say like a net 30 or anything like that. It doesn't say like net 30 or anything like that at the end. Yeah. No. Yeah,
But the problem is there is you're going out another 4
Right.
years.
Right.
Up to 4 years.
And
Yeah.
your CLNA is gonna be
Yeah.
so bad at that point, your taxes are
Right.
gonna be higher based off of.
Right. You're better off to do it now.
So we're gonna have to increase we're gonna need to put on next year's and 2026's town meeting day, $20,200.
That's,
$22,500.
Yes, yes.
Somebody has typed. I'm available if anyone has a question about Tyler Tech. Oh.
Oh,
That's
that is-
that's it. That's it.
yeah,
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I think,
I have a question.
Is he?
Yourself, John?
and I think that's probably why he's.
So the question we had
Your
was,
phone's muted.
are we gonna be okay budgeting out that fund?
Right.
What's the payment schedule gonna be?
Right.
Let's, John, you know, you want 15% up front. What's the payment schedule look like after that?
You know, the 15% upfront is a negotiable. But it would be whatever remains, and sometimes what some towns do is they retain 5 or 10% at the end until the job has been successfully completed in the town's opinion.
And your estimate is it's gonna take about a year to complete the assessment?
It'll take us a year to do it. We'll do it over the course of this next coming year.
So what we're talking about is like 15% upfront. A 70%. What kind of installments? And then if we were looking to hold on to the 15% for completion.
Right, right. I haven't done the math yet, but it would be basically 15% upfront, and then whatever we would allocate a certain amount every month. And we also look at it by production. So we're expected to we provide reports every month as to the progress of the project. But it's also it'll be a certain percentage for whatever the duration of the time period is, say divided by 11 months or something like that. Whatever that amount is that's left after. I'm sorry, I don't have my spreadsheet in front of me.
Okay.
But you can kind of do the math and figure that out. You know, and also this is a negotiated proposal. So if you want to add something, you can add something. If you want to adjust something, let us know and we can have a chat about that. And we do hope that you accept us. We would love to do the town of Bakersfield.
So you would start this, it says according to this, it would start up on July 1st, 2025. And your estimated completion date would be June 2026.
Right, and it would be for the April 1st of 2026. Values are usually as of April 1st, so it'd be April 1st, 2026.
So, and then we would sign whatever percentage we negotiate. We sign, pay you that percent up front. Your next payment, you would want somewhere around July when you start working in 2025.
That's correct, yeah. That's how it would work.
And then you don't know the percent you would want in July of 2025 when you start the work? Is it like another 20 and then we pay in quarterly amounts or?
He just said.
No, it would be,
Monthly, I was reading.
13,000.
yeah, Tyler likes to have a percentage up front to say, thank you for the commitment. It's kind of like a security deposit. And then we would start, and it would basically the increments every month from starting from July right through to the next July or to end of June. It would be a prorated amount divided by the amount of months.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So we will need to make sure that in 2025, at the town meeting, we'll have enough money in the bank to pay whatever that schedule is.
Right,
It might be more than the 22.
Just quick math here. Can't believe I have to do this on my calculator.
I had a piece of paper and lost just it.
So we would be looking at with if we did the 15% upfront, we'd be looking at spending 13,110 roughly, plus or minus. Then we would have the 75% spread out over 11 months, which would be just below $6,000 a month in payments. We would retain 10% for satisfaction completion until till all parties are happy. And that would be a final payment of 8740 in June of 26.
Sounds correct.
Alrighty.
And actually, that last payment would probably come out in August,
In August, okay,
July or August.
yep. Okay. I think that's all we have for questions at this point, I believe. We'll have to, we have two bids here that we'll be looking at, but time wise, when you're saying you can start in July of 25, when would the commitment need to be made in order for that timeline to be appropriate? I mean, obviously, we can't wait another 6 months and expect you to be here then, but.
Well, we're trying to make inroads in the Franklin County area. So we have 2 appraisers in Franklin County. And so we're gonna have a team up there. So it's a nice opportunity. We do hope that you can make a decision within a month, would be wonderful. But we really want to make a presence in Vermont. We want to have a crew in Rutland as well as Franklin County. So we're going to be there. We're going to be around.
Perfect. All right. That answers all the questions from the board as of now? Yes?
Yep.
And do we have your contact information? Is it just what we have here from Tyler?
I think you probably have Geo's.
We do.
Probably see his name. Do you see my name, John Vickery?
No.
I'm probably somewhere on that contract. I hope it should be on the front or first couple pages.
Well, I
Either
have
way,
a here.
Oh, he got the whole
Yeah.
thing. You got his name from somewhere.
That was name and number.
You have his contact information there?
So.
I know what his phone number is.
Okay. Could you by any chance type your contact information into the chat box? And we can have it taken down for our minutes?
yes, I can do that. Happy to. And I'm up in St. Albans a lot. We have the contract with St. Albans. And so if you ever need me for an evening meeting or any other purpose, I can come on over as
Perfect.
well. But I'll send you my contact information
Thank you.
immediately. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have anything to add to these? Like, was there anything you read through and saw that caught your eye that you were like, raised any flags or?
In either of them.
Yeah,
Well, Nemrick presented a very thin proposal, to say the least.
okay,
And they wanted us to make phone calls and make appointments, but in this day and time, that is not possible
right.
anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And Tyler Technologies does have a whole system of what they do and how they approach people. And I just really like their proposal a lot better.
Okay. And that's a kind of a unanimous board decision that you all felt the same way? Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, board and.
Resignee.
Yeah, resignee.
Resignee.
What's his name?
Yeah, that guy sitting next to you.
Board member one.
Yeah.
Emeritus.
Okay.
So what's our process?
So at this point, we would just be looking at the two a little more in depth. We'd take their recommendation. As you said, this one's pretty thin. There's not.
Well,
a
I
lot.
have the whole thing here,
Yeah,
if you want the whole thing,
okay.
but it's only
It's not much
10
more.
pages.
And I can see the
Which
stats.
has a lot of boilerplate things about
Okay.
all the places they've done and
Yep.
which takes up a lot of this proposal. But How much more information would you like?
So you're suggesting both of these, you're bringing both of them forward to the board that they are,
We prefer Tyler.
Okay.
all right.
I was just looking at or it was just pointed out to me, the back page of the Nemrick one, there's the payment schedule there.
Oh,
The only, I mean.
Oh.
The only thing that gets me with the payment schedule is, as we just talked about in our finances, this is voted upon monies. So it's, I mean, it's theoretically, it's sitting there in that fund. So I mean, it's not like we have to wait for money to come in. You know, it's not like your house where you gotta go work for the weekend to make your
Right.
mortgage payment. This is voted on. It's
Yep.
there.
Yep.
You're right though, John, that will increase the next
The next
couple for,
At least, Jim.
yeah, for the next 2 years.
But it gets it done earlier.
And then as the old adage says, never goes down.
Right.
So I'm always, you know, if we've got 6 years, you're saying is the new cycle. These are 87,000, 81,000. The next time it comes around, it's probably gonna be 100,000.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Right.
does the state give us,
20,000 isn't gonna drop
Right.
much.
Right.
So,
does the state, you said that the state had given 7,000?
Yes.
Is that, I mean, would we expect that next time, and how do they?
Well, they give it to us every year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
so what that used to do, and this
Is
was.
pay us.
This was a board mistake because we should have been banking that 7,000
Right.
for the past
Whatever. you-
however many years, forever. You know,
Probably
forever.
wasn't 7,000 all
Um,
that time.
It was used to pay the salaries to offset the cost for the town. With the understanding that we didn't know, well, I can claim I didn't know, but that it was supposed to go and be saved for reappraisal.
Right.
So theoretically, we would have had about $70,000 that has been.
Theoretically, we're in the top of that 7. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
that normally, if had that money been allotted correctly,
Yes.
we would be
into-
sitting on $80,000.
Given that they're changing it to 6 years rather than 10, do we think they're going to increase that 7?
Maybe.
Uh,
I
Not
have
gonna-
I
no
don't
idea.
know. I would
Government.
bank on that. Yeah.
no, so that's, John, did you do the math on that? 6 years, if it goes up to 100,000, what would we be looking at?
100,000 in 6 years.
About 22.5 still?
Yeah, it's about 23,000.
Yeah.
Just real quick slapping that
Yeah,
down on the.
yeah,
board.
no,
Right, you're going to make 7,000 each
Yeah.
year.
But you
Right.
gotta pay the salary.
And maybe.
Well, we still have to pay your salaries.
Money
and
in,
roll
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's just
Yeah.
figure it at probably 23. 16,
Yeah.
18, 18, 13, yeah.
I mean,
23,
this is
24,000.
us thinking of about budgetary stuff
Mhm. We don't need.
Sorry,
that
yeah.
tonight. Yeah.
in May or
Yeah, but-
April,
Good
but
discussion.
let's not push the year alone, right? Okay.
So what is your time frame for making a decision?
He said he'd like to hear before May.
A month, right? Within a month.
I think,
In May, he said.
yeah, I don't know what is. I mean, I'd like to give everybody a chance to look over these, come back with any questions.
Yep, I agree.
Yes.
Your recommendation is here.
Yes.
And we will take that into consideration because you are the ones that have to deal with them. I don't feel like it's necessary to drag you back out here if we were to vote on this at the next meeting after everybody has a chance to look at it. If you'd like to be here, you're more than welcome, obviously, but your recommendation is heard. And
One note is that John Vickery sought us out,
okay,
whereas nobody's seeking us out. You know, none of the other people that do this work
okay, okay.
We send out a lot of letters.
last year,
Last
and we
year.
got one reply.
So on the RFP, what was the close date on the RFP?
Pardon?
Did our RFP close? The request for proposals?
Yes.
What date was that it close?
Good question. I don't remember, and I don't have it right.
I mean,
in
but
front
it's
of
closed now. There's nobody who's gonna
Right.
slip
me.
in.
There's nobody.
These are the two we have.
These are the
to
two
decide.
options. we
His
have at this
date,
point.
right? Proposal, we submitted, oh, because he requested it.
Right.
As I say, his says it was submitted March 18th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one,
Doesn't say. And it was a year ago that we did the other ones. I
I
think.
didn't see one.
Which at this point, I mean, these are our two options.
No, I'm not disputing that. I just was wondering if someone's gonna, all of a sudden someone's like, oh, well, you guys said it was May 15th or.
No, it
If
isn't.
someone slides a
No.
proposal in and we've made a decision, I just want to make sure.
Yep.
Our RFP period is closed. We've done our due diligence. We're down to these two. We have to work through them.
Well, nobody's breaking down our door to do this, that's for sure. They got.
It's hard to
so
give
many.
away money.
It
Huh?
sounds to me like
Hard to give
Tyler-
away money.
Tyler's aware that there's a need in Vermont and they want to pick it up.
It's a good thing. All right.
And Tammy, were you able to get his information off the chat here?
Yeah, we'll get it by
Could
the,
you please? Thank you. All right, any other information from appraisers?
I don't think so.
Well, we thank you very much for your work and due diligence. Thank you, sir, for your time served.
yeah.
Get it to retirement in the future and-
Yes, we let them leave without holding them.
He's been here a year.
881-9230.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a great night.
SJ, are you okay with us taking Mr. Ovitt? His is very quick. I know what he's here for, and I think yours will take a little longer. Perfect, thank you. Mr. Ovitt in the hot seat, if you could just make sure that green light is on, good.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board.
Not so official. No, we're not there.
I'm Ryan Ovitt, here on behalf of the Bakersfield Little League. I'm here to request trucking on behalf of the town to truck a load of infield dirt for our ball field. We've done this now the past 2 years. The town has provided this service to the Bakersfield Little League. I normally coordinate with Mac. And we send a truck to Calkins, I think it's Calkins Gravel in Coventry.
Yeah.
And they pick us up a load of dirt, and leave it at the ball field for us to make a nice field over there for the kids.
So just like I do every year, this doesn't affect me or any of us. Mac, is this something that you're still willing to do? Look at me so excited to go to Coventry.
It's a nice drive over there.
So it's still, okay.
I'm good at it.
They'll make a motion that we extend the service to the truck, the dirt to the ball field.
Second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Right.
Any opposed?
You're in the dirt.
There you go.
Perfect. Thank you, ladies
Go
and
ahead.
gentlemen. Mac, I'll be in touch.
Yep.
Perfect. Thanks.
Thank you.
Welcome to the hot seat.
There you go.
Sorry, I knew that one was gonna be quick. So,
You wanna sign this?
no, I think we can just send it down to Tammy as accepted.
Accept it.
Hello.
Not everybody. It was sent to the group email. It was printed, it was put in our thing, so not everybody has had a chance to go and look at your work.
Okay.
They just received this a couple minutes ago. We haven't been right out straight, so I'm assuming they've probably had a chance to at least read through it.
Yeah.
Looks very
Okay.
good.
I'm very familiar with SJ's work, so. If anybody else on the board has any questions or comments that they have?
I would make the motion, we accept this proposal as written.
I'll second. Too slow.
Okay.
Before we. I trust you. Do you have a question? What would the time frame be?
That's a good.
Yeah, so I'm fairly flexible. I told Josh, just kind of brainstorming. I feel very confident that I could turn this around for like the 1st of July without any problem at all. And if you wanted it earlier than that, I'm sure that I could accommodate a shorter timeline. It would be helpful for me to know if you wanted to see it before then so that I could kind of map out, we're in a busy end of the
Right.
school year, last quarter, but I do have April break and some wiggle room that I could dedicate to this if it was important that
So
it be.
July is sooner than I expected.
Yeah, July, you know.
So
July's good with me.
I've got the creative vision of
Juices.
like a mole. So I would not want to be the contact person, but I think, I mean, I'm not pointing any fingers. But
And
I feel like you need like a contact person on the board to bounce ideas off of. You sent me the emblem there and I
Yeah.
thought that was really cool. But
I've been a bit vocal about this.
yeah,
I think we should do with it. And part of the reason that I'm interested in this is because we really want to do some
Right.
branding, I guess, if we
Yes.
want to
Right.
get it.
No, I agree.
Yeah, and that's something, so my background is in marketing and advertising. So I'm not, like, my background is not in web development. I have just over the years
Learn how.
developed a knack for being able to do it because I refuse to pay other people to do things that I can figure out how to do myself. So the branding piece is really my wheelhouse and something that's really important to me across whether it is a for-profit or entrepreneurial venture or nonprofits and community organizations. I just feel very strongly that that brand is important if we're going to, build community, that it's silly to think in the 21st century that that's not a thing. Because it is, and we're exposed to brands all the time and we respond to them. And when they're lacking, we don't. So I think we have an opportunity that is, for me, pretty easy and straightforward to manage, to be able to get our community kind of on board and caught up with where the world is in that respect. So I think, if that July 1 timeframe worked for y'all, I could also work with Nikki or whoever on the branding piece so that if in the next handful of months you wanted to do things like get a social media presence or do some of that, if you want to get letterhead, not necessarily printed, but if you want on your documents, your electronic documents to have
An actual seal.
To have
remember
that-
set of seal? Yeah.
to have, logo and and typeface that is always consistent and always recognizable. That's, I can like prioritize that and that can be something that I can turn around pretty quickly and then be mapping out the timeline for actually getting the site. It is going to be time intensive to move everything that is currently on that site and get it organized in a way. I think a lot of this development is just going to be the minutia of like pulling content.
Tammy, who has editorials of the town website now?
Who
Who goes in there and puts stuff?
Tammy does and Tammy and Kathy. Yes.
Okay.
Tammy
And I don't know that I'll let you know. I may not need to have access to your current site. I mean, things that are, I think, I think I'll let you know if there are things that I can't pull or I can let you know, like, these are files that I need, but it looks like when I go in there, a lot of the things when you click on them are files that I
You can
can,
download it.
yeah.
I just want to make sure that it is expressed that she's doing this per the select board's order. Whatever access she needs to make sure that all the information is there, available.
Passwords.
That she has that.
Yeah, and it could be, that I get everything set up and then if there's a list of files that we need to move over, that I can just set up a time to come in some evening or afternoon and just sit and do it. Yeah, I was just saying, if you are not comfortable giving me access to the existing site, I could come in and just work with someone. I think that would be pretty straightforward.
I would just give her access.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a WordPress site if I'm
Yeah.
right. And then
So-
she just needs the username and the admin username or an account with admin rights. Password.
Excuse me.
And then eventually what we would need to figure out is if you want to keep the same domain name, then I'll need to sit and have a conversation with whoever takes care of the hosting, like there will have to be there's a process basically for redirecting the current site to this new site behind the scenes if you want to keep that. So those are like technical things that we can work out
I think Kathy-
afterward.
Yeah, Kathy told me that Kathy knows the hosting company. I think, I forget what we pay. We pay a fee for them hosting us. And it would just be replacing.
Yeah.
The actual. I
So we
probably
can-
wouldn't personally, just me. I probably want to change the URL because there are folks who have it saved who. would
Yeah,
like-
I'm not suggesting that we do that, but there is a process just for like redirecting
Yeah, the
the
redirect.
current hosting to this new hosting
Yeah.
with still maintaining that URL. So we'll just want to make sure that we do that. In the meantime, you would just keep running the site as is. And then when we're ready to switch it over and go live, that's just basically like a click the button
Direct,
and
right, but-
do it. Yeah, and then there would be a little bit of a learning curve, and I think maybe in my experience, like the platform that I use is a lot more user friendly for folks who are not like web developers. So it'll feel much more like editing a Word document or whatever. It's a very visual platform, so I think it'll be very easy. And I'm happy to be, to like kind of consult on the side in that process of, I can take a phone
But
call and be
I'd
like,
like to
we
make a
can't
proposal.
get this to work
We
or
already
whatever.
had the motions.
Yeah, we have
So
the motions.
So we have a motion. I would just accept a amendment to the motion that states that Nikki is the point person for SJ.
So moved.
Yeah. To the
Yeah.
board, yeah.
That way you don't have to come to meetings or anything. If you got any questions, you can call Nikki and you guys can battle it out.
I would agree to
Remember who made the motion, but somebody. got
I
the
did.
original,
Yeah,
somebody
I
seconded it.
seconded it.
There we go.
Changed.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed?
I did.
Thank you, sir. Very, very nice. As always.
Thanks.
Do you have a copy of the proposal? Perfect. Tag that along with the meeting.
No
minutes.
black to the background, please.
I think so. We're just
Yeah.
completely transparent.
Yep.
And then what I can do is give you a heads up when I have like something for you to look at. And, I will, if it's okay with you, I'll just, use my judgment and understanding of kind of the need and know that if I show you the mock-up and people are like, I really don't think this is going to work, or like this color palette isn't what we want or whatever, all of that is.
It's exactly what I'm talking about. The background is just hammered. It's
Yeah.
so it's dark black and it's.
Yeah, yeah.
And with,
Oh, wait, we should actually talk about the color palette down there.
Yeah.
Color palette like I was like.
No, you look at the color palette and it's all black in the background. It's a mess. It's so dark and just needs something that looks
So like,
good.
I'm just going for something that's very visual.
Yes.
Easy
Right.
to navigate
Yeah.
from a visual standpoint, not needing to read a lot of text to figure out where you want to be.
Exactly.
And something that you can pull up on your phone, because most people are accessing it here. And that it's easy to.
Keep this simple.
Exactly. Yeah, the phone access, that's the other problem because you have no mobile capability on our current site. It just squishes everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a mess. It's
Yeah.
brilliant.
But
But I don't know when
Yeah.
that site was made. Like it was probably cutting edge back in 2001.
I mean, it functions in terms of like a place to store information.
Yeah.
It's just not super easy to not super user friendly. So great.
Excellent. Thank you.
thank you, Sergio.
No problem.
Hello.
Hello.
Wendy Cobb from the library, and I'm just here with an update on the library and what's going on. And I think I kind of have to make a request, and I wasn't going to come until the 22nd, but we have a meeting for the floor that week, so I can't come. So first of all, I want to thank you all for signing the park thing. We had 45 people come today and only Two of them were from Bakersfield, and that was my husband and myself. Everybody else was from Oregon, Ottawa, New York City. It was crazy. It was really a great showing out there, and so many people were appreciative to the town. And I just want to say thank you all for signing that. We have found the old architectural drawings made by Bakersfield resident Parker Croft in February of 1994, and we have scanned them and sent them to Kate Cribb, who is working on the new drawings and has a target date for the end of April for having new drawings for us. Nikki met with Brian Wescombe about the zoning permits for the library. Do you want to add on this?
So he, we're not at that point yet, but he said that they are good for a year and can be extended at our request. And he also suggested that the library might want to request waiving the fee.
I was just gonna ask, why are we charging our town for permitting?
Gonna need a state.
That's-
Yeah, that's
But I'm just saying, so
Yeah.
just that, some of those are extendable, some
Yeah.
of them aren't.
Oh,
So that's why I'm saying check with the state to make sure, because sometimes they're very rigid on.
So Brian didn't cover what the state would require. So
You have to call the fire marshal's office and ask them.
to extend the library, there's
Because
a
it's a
large
public-
grant
Yep.
that's available, and we're hoping to get it, but we have to be, I say we, the town, the library. The library has to be like.
Shuffle, yeah,
So that's
ready to
why
go.
we're getting them.
State is gonna tell you what's required from the fire code perspective, both the towns. So that may add to your project, that's why we should contact them right off initially.
Okay.
Once you get your drawings, take those drawings down, and say, here's what's proposing, what's required under the state, you know. our-
Okay.
And Kate was looking up that stuff, so she should have it.
Yeah.
That's the industrial engineer.
Yeah.
Okay.
If the engineer should, yeah.
Yeah.
And they may do the permit, ask them, are you gonna request a permit from the state? That's the other question you can ask, because sometimes the engineering firms do it. It's just, I don't wanna have to
Yeah.
start the project, all of a
And
sudden
then
get
find
shut down because you didn't have the proper.
I would entertain a motion though that stated town of Bakersfield
Well, we can
waives
do that.
town permit fees for this project.
I will make a motion that the town of Bakersfield waives permit fees for the library construction project.
And I
Was
was,
there a second?
I'll second.
Can you second that? Are you on the board still?
Nope.
Okay, nothing more. All right then. Well, I just wondered if you
Yeah.
had contact. Motion's been made and seconded. All those.
Me.
Nick, in favor? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Yeah, there you go. So we will, Tammy, can you just make a
either.
note to Brian that that has been
That's all
done? Thank you.
Nikki relayed to me that Brian says he remembers his father putting in a septic system of some sort in the early 90s. I was going through some old documents for other things and meeting minutes and the sort, and I've stumbled on some quotes for a septic system in May of 2001 from a Roy Hango out of Enosburg and a Norm Schreiber out of Fairfield. I'm not sure if I said his name right. These quotes went to Sue Tillotson, who I contacted. She told me that Roy brought an excavator in to dig down to the tank, which they discovered is below the level of the cellar floor. Roy did not see any evidence of a leach field, and the trustees felt at the time that they should leave the septic as is until a crisis happened. So we're currently, and that's where we are there. The floor is going forward in mid-May. Mike O'Rourke talked with Mac. And this is where I'm not sure if I'm supposed to get permission from you. Mac stated that possibly one of the bays at the old fire station might be open and we could store our books and bookshelves in there if we wished, instead of having to get storage pods, which would save us a tremendous amount of money.
Max, you can, there's no chance those would get wet down there.
You'd have to probably put it on. panels and do it.
In stone.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that.
Yeah.
Keep it off
Yeah.
the floor. yeah.
What's the other stone for?
Yeah, I would just, I would just make sure, I wouldn't see,
Hmm?
yeah.
It's summertime.
Well, we're hoping that our worst case scenario, worst case, is a maximum of 2 weeks using that storage.
Okay.
So when one of the over-
Our intention is to close the library on or around May 9th to move the books and bookcases, and we are looking into ways to transport the books and bookcases to the fire station. When they're cleared out, we plan on patching and painting the walls as soon as possible before the carpet and asbestos tile is removed on Monday, May 13th, and that's scheduled to take 2 to 3 days. The flooring will go in immediately after removal is complete, and we hope to have the flooring done in a timely fashion. And then we can move the books and bookcases back into the library.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
You're going to paint the walls before you remove this?
Yeah, I had that reservation as well. I wasn't sure that that was a good idea, but the other trustees felt that it would be dry by the time.
Well, the only thing I would worry about is any dust at all.
Yeah, that was my thought too.
So if the dust is on the wall.
Yep.
When they remove that asbestos, they're gonna have to vacuum those walls. So it
Yep.
removes all that dust. If you paint afterwards, then you've created another barrier over anything that gets left behind.
Okay,
Yeah.
So if you paint beforehand, whatever's there is open air. So if you paint afterwards, you've sealed that in with another coat of paint. There would be zero exposure at that point.
Is the concern the time between the floor coming up and the floor, I mean, because the floor's got to go down at a certain date.
right. I think that the concern is the floor going down and trustees being available because it's going to be going down. But he said, Peter Parkinson did say that if he has an extra hand, that it can go down even faster. So maybe we can get the paint up. But that's why we're having our meeting on the 22nd to make sure that everything is
Thank
on the way.
That's how you classify it.
Just,
Right.
So I think they're extending of the line would require always.
Oh, yeah, that's,
yeah,
There's a whole
that's,
bunch of.
yeah.
Yep.
Thank you
Okay.
for bringing that up.
sorry,
No,
that,
No,
I had the same thought as you, Josh, but
yeah.
but the only other thing is Mike O'Rourke was just gonna ask the ROTC to help us move the books, and we're planning on paying for a couple of young hired hands to organize the move. So we still use your son and Hadley's son for, having point A and point B, and then we won't have to lift it. Us old ladies won't have to lift anything. So hopefully it all works out. So that's what's going on.
Can we go back to the septic under the
Sure.
floor? Is that, when you say the septic's under the floor, are we putting a new floor on top of the septic or?
No.
No.
Below floor level.
Okay.
We were
Of the
concerned
basement.
that it was not low enough in the ground,
Okay.
but it is.
It is, but yes, okay, I just
It's
wanted to
still
make
not
sure.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but-
still not a good situation. My chances are,
The way that reads below the basement floor level, that'd be down 7 feet.
Yeah.
yes, and if you go, I walked back there to look behind the library and you can see where it sags. It is in there. And I did try to look at where the pipes go out. And it's like level, because there's a cutout in the bookcase downstairs in the basement, and it's, it goes out. So it's gotta be below the library.
It kind of sounds like that it's, doesn't have a leach field.
No.
It's
no.
probably just an old dry well.
Yep. And Brian Westcomb, Nikki I didn't get a chance to talk with Larry. He did come to my house, but I didn't get a chance to talk to him. I didn't even think of it. So you were gonna ask him, hopefully jog his brain. So that's the whole thing, is we're trying to jog brains around here because I wasn't here then, and so I don't know. So,
But we are cognizant of the fact it's probably gonna have to be
yes.
updated.
And that's part of the grant is monies is for septic, so.
On the plus side though,
You don't have a lot of.
you'll end up with a pump in the
Right.
basement.
Yeah.
Everything will go down and then get pumped out, and it's not a terrible thing, but
Yep.
it will make maintenance a lot easier in the future.
We're still working on that. We haven't gotten all the details yet. We are working on that though, so. It's a work in progress, but just thought I'd touch base and keep you guys updated, all right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Wendy.
Road. Snow, mud,
Mud.
back to mud, snow again.
Goes into frosted.
Oh. Has it been as much fun as it sounded? Yeah.
It was better this time than it was last time.
Did,
Roads weren't.
whose truck went off the road?
Well.
Okay. I actually didn't hear about that from anybody in town. Where did I see that? It did get posted somewhere. Just, it was actually completely harmless. It was just, hey. If you live on these roads, just an FYI, the truck's gone off the road. It's gonna be a little late. I was like, that's actually kind of like,
Kind of nice.
yeah. Now he's got a lot of papers.
Annual paperwork for the state, that's
Oh,
supposed to,
lovely.
FYI, this is what you're gonna do, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Same difference there.
Those trustees, management, anybody wanna entertain themselves?
Yeah, if you want to, if you don't want to.
If you've read it once, you.
Codes and standards. Yearly.
Registered fire Bakersfield, so Bakersfield, it's like.
You sign that every year.
Yeah.
I think they did.
Everybody signs this one, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, okay.
What are you saying?
Codes and standards.
I'll say I'll send it to you in just a minute.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
John first.
Today is April. We further certify that our adopted standards do. They do, correct? Meet the standards. We further certify that we do have an updated highway network inventory which identifies location, size, difference, conditions. We do have that, correct? We didn't.
What you do.
That was the one we signed a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Yep. And. Thank you.
This is something they're looking for. It's that ordinance type thing.
Yes.
Okay. What?
Was looking for this.
State.
Well, they had no problem getting in touch with me the last time stuff went haywire.
Well, I think it's just you. Well, I mean, we've got Nikki on here now instead of just Terry, you know. Just passing these things along.
Yep. You have a chance to read that. It just says, states that.
I was listening to
Okay,
it.
okay.
It's thank you.
I listened to what you said.
It's one of those things, if you want to apply
Yeah.
for the grant.
Right.
which is-
You gotta have that, right.
If you sign that and if you don't have that, then it's comes time to feel it.
All right, thank you. I know.
Yeah.
Sorry. Mailing address, seriously?
We should just ask for all that information for you since you're the boss.
They ain't getting it. Work phone. I'm just gonna give them one phone because it's, they call it, I'll answer, no matter where I am. No. I was gonna say, I've got enough Wi-Fi at my house, I can answer my cell phone.
Annual financial plan.
What'd you do? You just been sitting on all this paperwork or what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
been here for a while. Give them a chance.
Can you hand that to Tammy so that she can file it?
No, I gotta bring this to.
Well, yeah, I know, but she's gotta know what we signed.
She's gonna make that copy. Better make the copy. Yeah.
Copy that here.
I know, you're saying this somewhere?
So class one roads, we get $13,000. Well, it says we get $13,000 for class one.
I know, well, okay, so this is the financial plan, okay?
Yep.
And this is how it breaks down. They want you to have it, so it's 60% winter, 40% summer.
Oh.
And the way I've been going through it. it didn't quite dry this year, so
So you
had,
fudge the numbers?
no,
No.
no, they're, so you voted in 4.25.
Yep.
I tried to go 2.25, 2 for winter and summer. And that came out like 75% for winter, so I did back it to 25 for. Summer. I'm gonna bring it to her. So I left it so it was gonna be the 2.25 for summer, 2 for winter, and then my normal stuff, and it came out to just under 64. I just over 60.
So it worked for
I
their,
haven't filled out the numbers on that yet because I'm gonna go down and talk to John about. I like to sit with him and make sure this is what he likes.
okay. And you can verify that we're spending at least $300 per mile.
Both, yeah,
Yeah, I didn't figure that was gonna be a hard one to.
no. But that's just the next page of that. There's no signatures needed here. It's just 2 copies. One is gonna be for a structures grant, one is gonna be for a paving grant, which I don't think we're on the top of the list for the paving grant yet. He is still bringing me numbers for the paving grant.
This one doesn't require a signature.
No,
Okay.
I'm just telling you that I'm gonna fill
You're
that
gonna
one
fill it
out.
out. Yep.
This road. And the structures grant is going on with the Whitney Road culvert.
Okay. That,
in
That-
it.
yeah.
Yeah. I talked to Tyler. Tyler said,
Mhm.
how do you want to take care of this? And he said. The state likes it if you do a. Grant for engineering. So you're ready to go next year with the grant,
okay.
okay?
These are just informational.
And a quick,
She's read them.
Oh, you already had those.
Yep.
Okay.
quick. Hydraulic study of the thing.
Yep.
He's talking like 250 maybe for this. Because it's. Quite an area, it's. So. He's saying. Put in for. And John Wilkins said the same thing, put in for the engineering for this year.
Yep.
Next year, put in for that, and Tyler said, Better Back Roads also has a grant. That you might
Okay.
be, because the maximum on that is 175.
So we might have to tap into both of them on one job.
That's what he's thinking.
Okay.
I mean,
And he's willing to back us on that because I mean, being the state guy, he's.
Yeah, yeah. So. We could do it, if they don't get the one from Better Back Roads, you could do that, and then we've got enough in our, I believe in our thing to.
Okay.
Split the difference.
Yep, yep. Okay.
Just let me know where that's going.
Where
You
is
just got
So
Whitney 6,000.
once you turn off 108,
Yeah.
when you get to the bottom of that right there,
And that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a fresh beaver dam this year. Is it gone? So's the road though, right?
Yeah.
The road to the left, the access road for that field.
No, they're both still.
Oh, are they? I thought that dam was built right on that road.
No.
Is that?
Yeah, that's it. You got 2 things, right? You got the update, and you got the. Financial plan. I will bring you a copy of the financial plan when I get it.
Okay. Yep.
I'll bring that back when I come on. I'm talking to John.
John, what's our computer doing up there?
I don't know. Looks like it's recorded Mac.
Get some.
Uh.
Oh, okay. No, it was just your cursor was over
Just because
something.
I touched
Yeah,
your cursor.
alright.
Can I ask
Something.
this state guy that we're referring to?
Yep.
John?
Pilot.
So is that a,
John Wilkins, he's
Yeah.
District 8 head tech.
Right, thank you.
And Tyler Goins, the East Engineering, who was the one that helped us do all our FEMA work. Very.
Sorry.
no,
I know,
so
yeah, no, it's,
if I don't know.
yeah, perfect. Yeah, don't hesitate, because sometimes we'll. Yeah,
Forget.
yeah,
Up on.
Familiar with this.
right.
Okay, now I can see that.
Now we can,
Yeah.
still on camera.
I am.
Yeah,
I'm on now.
it's just the part they're used to seeing, the back of you walking away.
So. An update with FEMA,
Yep. Oh, we're still dealing with them?
we got a. What do you call it, an email the other day saying that our Cat Z was off by $460 some odd. Okay, now.
in their favor, of course. So do you want to pursue this? And Lance and I kind of, well, yeah, exactly.
At this point, $460
It's not
is
worth
not
the-
worth it.
It's all taken care of.
Well, yeah,
Yes, Lance
Sorry.
took care of that. So
background. This FEMA stuff has been going on since the Halloween storm.
Yep.
And FEMA, either at the state or the federal level, both have required these two gentlemen to spend stupid amounts of hours submitting paperwork, which they'll turn around 4 to 6 months later and say, we need the same exact paperwork, which they've sent to the portals, whether at the federal or state government, that can't talk to each other.
Yeah.
So they have to recompile all the information which has been filed,
Mhm.
submitted again, in order for 4 to 6 months later, the other one to say, we need this submitted again. And it has been, basically, I think what they're trying to do is wear them down to the point where they just say, it's
Yeah.
not worth the time.
Which is what?
well, that $400.
$460 is not,
Out of,
when we're talking
that was total of 15 or something for the administrative, right?
15,000, right?
Yeah, and then after that gets done, then the state will cut us our check for their.
10%.
Of the entire job, right?
Right.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of saying things, $400 is.
It's not worth Lance and I
So
sitting here for
it-
another,
Yeah, it used to be 85,
used to be 80,
85, 12 and 3, wasn't it?
85,
For 100, it'd have to be,
Yeah. 85.
No, 85% paid by FEMA,
right.
12% paid by the state, and 3% paid by the town.
Right.
Well, FEMA increased it to 90%. And the state reduced theirs. So,
7. So
whatever.
we're still paying the
Yeah,
3.
gaining.
Yeah, no, we didn't get, the town didn't gain anything.
No,
But anyway,
but it's been,
It was 80 and
it's
12.
been. a
I think it was
pain in the
80.
ass.
10, 80, 15 and 5 maybe?
You're calling
5 for this
problems,
town,
right?
I don't know. It wasn't much for the state.
No,
So by letting them keep that $400, it's gonna move the process ahead faster.
yes.
Okay, good.
Cause I got another email today saying the deadline was near for that project.
It's if you look at it, there's hundreds of names on that email list.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And we're just one of them.
Yep, no, I guess if that's what it takes to move forward and get the,
Like I say, it's just not worth Lance and I sitting
No.
here for hours trying to figure out where $400 was.
that wouldn't even be like 0.5%.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Anything else on the roads as far as?
Not that I can think of right off the top of my head.
We, and I don't know how this happened, but, I was on my computer the other day at school. And on my desktop, there's a road commissioner outline, job outline. I didn't print it off because I was doing 10 other things, but I was like, oh, this is right there. I'll remember that. I didn't.
Okay.
So we do have, I'm not saying what shape it's in. It might even be somebody else's that I just saved to my desktop to look at. But we do have something at least for a starting point. Was that posted, Tammy? That open position? Yep, okay.
It's been John,
And nobody's, yep,
The LCT. Road commissioner, no, because we wanted Bakersfield.
go on Bakersfield,
So
right
we
there, yep.
did my job, state with our website and our town.
Okay. And you touched on the next thing, which is the grader. I didn't see anything in the book or in there that anybody's bit on that.
I had a road commissioner from Belvedere who, Tammy, turned me over on the phone. I happened to be here when he called and they were interested,
Okay.
but
He was gonna come down. He called one day and said, I'll down in the afternoon. I don't know whether he showed up after we left or if he didn't make it that day because he was going to Burlington first.
Yep. I've also had a select board member from Sheldon.
Yeah.
Reach out to me and they would like to. With your permission, I'd like to give them your cell phone. So same thing, they could send their foreman over to
You're
checked
nicer
out.
than I am. I didn't ask his permission.
Well,
Well, he called the town garage, so,
Yeah.
I gave him the town garage as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
which, you know, if he calls down there, leaves a message, leaves a number, I'll call him back.
Yes.
We did have some local people also reach out as far as I heard. Did I misunderstand that?
No applications.
No, are we talking greater? I'm sorry.
Talking
I was back on, I heard road commissioner. I was talking road commissioner stuff. I know we went to greater, but I thought we went back to road commissioner.
Nope.
Did briefly,
Yeah.
but then we.
Can't do ping pong
Okay.
from that one or, okay,
Okay.
all right.
What was the deadline on those? Just for
April 15th.
on both? Yeah, the grader I know was the 15th. Yes, please and thank you. Well, considering today's the 8th, we might have to go a little later. How about the 22nd, since that's our next meeting? All applicants can be in by then.
Gives him another week.
Yep.
Oh, look at me.
So the road commissioner, we're gonna leave open till 4/22. And the grader? 4/15. That's just because we keep going back and forth between them. We gotta write something down. I'm getting confused. They both had something to do with those.
Or the possibility that you're looking at halftime after you retire.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't have anything else for roads. I mean, do what you can with the mud and slop that we got and
I don't believe there's any mud left. I mean,
no, good.
It's just back to potholes. I mean, we
Yep.
had them really good last week until the
Yep.
snow and
I did go over East Bakersfield Tuesday last week before we got the snow,
Mhm.
but I came off of over by Wright's Farm. I went up to Coal Hall. You can probably guess what I was doing. Then I came down through, I went up
Waterville?
Beacon Hill, checked that one out. And then circled back through I didn't see any that were any worse than any of the other roads I travel on a daily basis. There are,
Be a pretty good pothole, but Jerry Brigham's on.
oh, okay,
I mean, it's just starting.
in the blacktop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta wait till Pike opens.
Yeah, no,
So
I'm.
somebody opens to get
They're not open yet
not yet.
for Coal Patch.
I'm gonna probably try Hutchins this year, cause that stuff we get from Pike first thing of the year it's a bear to shovel.
Yep.
You can't level.
I just wanted to make you aware.
Yeah. If it gets bad enough, I'll throw some gravel in it, or, for now.
It's the same problem in East Bakersfield, about right by water tower. You know, right where we hit the blacktop.
Yeah,
You're
I
starting
think-
to break up the road up there, you
Yeah.
get some potholes start in the blacktop.
In black.
Yeah.
And then you go a quarter mile right where the dirt, the black, right where the
Yeah.
blacktop ends, like the song, you get about a quarter mile up the road, headed further up East Bakersfield. You got a couple heaves, it's not bad. I purposely did what you asked. I rode which cat has small hole, little.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And the same thing with East Bakersfield, most of it, there's probably, you could see some
what's the weather? look like?
water. Not mud yet, but the water's penetrating the
Yeah.
surface.
Yeah.
And you have a couple good
Supposed to
heaves,
say
couple small heaves starting. Or dips, I'll call them, not a heave.
Yeah.
Crossroads a lot better.
But they look like, I mean, riding up and down them.
Yeah.
I did 30 down them. I wouldn't be doing 50, that's for sure, but it's not,
that is a speed.
So
yeah.
it does look like it's gonna rain like every day this week.
Yeah.
except-
It's supposed to rain this
He was out with the grader today. I'm not exactly sure where he went and.
Yeah,
He hit Crossroad.
I
looks
didn't
like you
say.
might be able to grade tomorrow.
Oh,
Right.
What's he sucking up for you for?
Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow, I mean, it might get them both going.
Yep, and then it doesn't look like you're gonna be able to do
No.
anything again until maybe Tuesday, Wednesday of next week.
It'll probably pound them out anyway, but. You
Alright, I mean,
can't win.
as was brought forward to us by the citizen, by a citizen. I mean, if it gets to the point where we can't do anything else on the roads. I'd really like to see that brush cut down on the Boston Post Road.
Yeah.
Right now, I think if you were to go off the road,
the stuff that you cut out of the road
Right.
for the storm. Like right now, if we were to go off the road right there, I think you'd get a 4-foot stick right through the window or right through the grill or something. I just. Yeah, well, I'd hate for somebody to do that. If we can lop them down, chip them up, whatever, just.
Yep.
You know, just to get that back to look at. It was good and now it's. I know it's not your guys' fault. You did what you guys needed to do to get the road open. So I mean, you know, if we can just clean it up and get that going
It's
down.
gonna take about a week or, just riding around with a chipper and stuff, just to clean up the.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. That's.
So what's the future plan for ditching? Cause I keep getting asked that now that we have our excavator.
Well-
What, have we got, do we have a plan for this year? I guess is the question. Is there a certain road we're gonna do? Is any thought, I guess, is what we're,
Not really giving that much thought yet.
okay. Oh, I know it's early. I just,
I
yeah.
think we're gonna concentrate more on the, stormwater
Yep,
places that are.
Yep.
Flagged,
Right.
basically.
right.
So we
Okay.
have.
It's
and
more the
I'm not
washout
sure
spots
if
too.
you're not
Yeah.
talking, but through the stormwater grant,
Okay,
they come and they do an road appraisal.
Like an
I guess is the
assessment?
Best way to do it,
Right.
and they tell us.
Yep.
Where are, there's like a
Hydraulic
green,
leak.
yellow, red.
right, right.
This site needs to be addressed
That's
ASAP.
what,
This
that
site
was the
is not.
question. I wasn't sure.
And you have that report, I'm sure, in an email somewhere. That he would probably be willing to share with you if you want to look at it. I mean, when we had them out walking Joyle Road,
Mhm.
they were fairly. Okay, they were like, drove a lot of the roads, and they looked okay.
Right.
For the most part, it's more along the lines of getting them up to. Stoned.
Mhm. Right, no, that's what, yeah.
It's not so much.
No,
their-
right.
Their ditch is bad, it's just. Certain slopes have to be stone lined,
Right.
certain slopes have to be fabric lined, and certain slopes have to be just seeded.
Right.
So it's just getting us to that standard so that we're meeting state.
I just think having a good plan and bringing, if that's what we're gonna do, just bring it in so that we can be transparent as to here's what's going on. Yeah,
Note, that grant deals mostly with ditches that are hydraulically connected to streams.
yes, no, that makes sense, yeah.
So they put a higher priority
On those,
on
that
those
makes
than they
sense,
do on the regular stretch of road that
to protect.
just has
Yeah.
a sheet runoff.
I would like to, in this regards, I would like to see. From road commissioner and foreman, if it's two separate people, working together. Kind of, I don't wanna say a restoration, but. Going through, again, I'd point you towards Johnson, the back way to. Like the Hyde Park ambulance station over there, they went through and they ditched both sides of the roads. And they made it's a very clean cut road, did some re-graveling of some stuff
Mhm.
with the clean ditches and it looked amazing.
Yeah.
And I think basically because of lack of equipment, quite honestly, only being able to get an excavator for a week or two at a time, we've lost some of our ditch lines and road, it all kind of, and then there's a ditch that's kind of filled up and it kind of. I'm not,
That's the thing, in the
Yeah.
spring, when it's too dry to grade. to put
Yeah.
grade on,
Yes.
well,
Yeah.
start digging.
yep, so that's what I was thinking, if we can
Yeah.
just go back and start reclaiming some of these road, not reclaiming, I don't feel like that's the right word.
Just
Redefining.
Right, yeah.
And, maybe re-graveling some of the bad spots and. I mean, we've got the pit, we've got the equipment now. I don't think there's a better time than now to try and start doing some of that stuff to.
And we realize that this year's been especially bad because a lot of that stuff that went in the ditch wasn't snow.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
So,
The
Go
one
ahead,
thing
Joe.
I would say with grading the roads, we need to do post a grade is knock these berms down. That's causing the roads to erode more. There is some real rails riding down on
Yeah.
both sides of a graded road that is holding the water on the road. when it's
That's,
busy road.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Part of that same
But
stormwater.
you can't do them
Yeah.
all 1 year.
No,
Right.
That's the thing.
but you've gotta have a good ditch
You
line
gotta
to
have a
take
good
care of
ditch
that
line
too.
to take care of that.
Knocking the berm off. As
Yeah.
we grade the roads, and I know
Well,
we're
the
gonna.
problem there is if you
grade
knock it into your ditch. and-
Right.
Knocking in or shoveling in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I know it's manual work and it sucks, but the problem is we're holding all the water on the road still. We've
I-
literally made it so it's two rails running down a road and that's what's destroying the surface as well. If we can get it at least to run off the road the way it should and
Well,
fix the
and I-
runoffs
I was
eventually,
gonna
we
say,
can
I
get it
think-
to go.
I think a lot of the problem is the material.
Yeah.
We've put so much sand
Right,
on these roads and we're not the only ones having this problem that, you know, it's Enosburg, Montgomery.
right, no, every.
Montgomery's in way worse shape than we are, trust me.
Yeah.
But I think we're to the point now where we've put so much sand on the roads because we're not getting the snow like we used to. We're getting more ice.
Yep.
Which is, we're putting on more material.
Mhm.
It's leading to that slime that you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yes.
And then you get that berm because it's all pushed out.
Yeah.
and- Yeah.
That's a mess. And it's not their fault.
No.
I'm not saying that you guys are doing it. I'm just saying.
It's materials.
Yeah, it's, you just gotta kind of knock it down so that we get the water.
And a lot of that is from plowing and not,
Right.
trying not to take the gravel out of the middle of the road and put it in the ditch.
Put it in the ditch.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sitting there. Mark is very good with the grader as far as taking that stuff that's on the edge and hogging it in. I'm not
No,
so much.
Now he hogs it back in the road.
Is there
Yeah.
any way, Mac, is there any way to reclaim that material?
Well, that's what I'm
without-
saying. That's what Mark is doing a lot of that. He'll go right out there with a grader and just.
But I mean, like, even out of the ditch line,
Oh,
I
out
mean,
of the
cause
ditch
we're putting
line?
we're putting a lot of sand, like I said, we're putting a
Yeah.
lot of sand on the roads. And it's turning slime and it's getting pushed off into the,
Yeah.
cause you don't want that on the road, you know, we've talked about this before. You don't wanna pull that slime back into the road, cause then as soon as it rains, It's a
same
grease
thing
ball.
again, right?
but is there any way we could reclaim that for sand out of the ditch?
If it's decent stuff, we have been, you know,
Okay.
for ditching, Mark will say, take this back to the
Okay.
pit, we'll put it in the pit, but most of the time it's.
It's just beyond.
I was gonna say, most of the time, it's just not.
Yeah.
too much.
It's just too much findings,
Yeah.
too many fines in it.
Yep.
Okay, no, I just asking the question, not,
There are certain spots in town when we're ditching that it's, I mean, maybe it's the material that's underneath it. Take it to the pit, we either put it for gravel
yep.
or a lot of times for
Okay.
sand.
Yeah, I'm not out there with you guys, so I'm
Yeah.
just asking the questions and so.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Matt?
Thank you.
Anybody? Thanks, Matt. Well, this board business, this thing got long here.
Yeah.
It's gonna go.
I'll go
Alright,
quick.
so Mert,
I emailed them for an update on MERP. We have not heard back via my email. That was April 4th. I CC'd all of you on it.
no new information.
No. they
That's,
haven't
see how easy
responded.
that was? No new
Easy.
information. No new.
So we did put this.
Hole in the roof.
Put some comment, moving on.
Who poked the hole in the roof?
So is it an actual hole or did we lose a piece of slate that was
No,
cut?
there was a vent pipe up there,
It was.
okay, and it was back when David Ovett was here.
Yep,
Mark had his buddy,
whoever.
whoever,
Yeah.
go up on that roof and
Yeah.
he replaced some slate. And he said there was a tin pipe up there, vent pipe.
Yeah.
That needed some attention, and
The pipe fell.
at the time, the select board didn't like the price that this guy did to go up on that slate roof, which I wouldn't go up there for.
I wouldn't, no, I agree.
But he was up there the other day because one of the windows in the front had shimmied open a little bit.
Mhm.
And Kathy said, "Well, I think maybe the birds are getting in there." So we finally found out how to get up there. He got up there, went up, fixed that, and then he walked back up and there's a hole. The piece of tin or whatever it was, whether there was a stack there or a
Okay.
ventilation, something was there maybe, or maybe it was not. But
So,
it's like right over the top of the stage up there.
so does it need slate or does it need a piece of plywood or what
Yeah.
are we
Yeah.
thinking?
I would assume you'd need to put slate on it, or maybe it needs to be vented back in there. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because originally it was a vent.
Who do we know for roofers?
Does
That would go up
slate-
there.
Do we have any locals?
Danny Fitz is one, but there's a guy, the one Mark had was,
Does Danny do slate?
I don't know.
I don't think he does. I think he
does
just
it.
does metals. isn't he?
This was-
I believe so.
My bad.
Yeah.
He's over by Reed's, Mort Reed's. I think it was Slate Affair or something like that, or maybe it was his brother or something, somewhere right there. I can ask Mark. to
Okay.
See if he'd do it again.
Yes, if Mark's got
You
any,
Just put a piece of slate up there. that's
if we,
what I would
yeah,
do.
if we can, well, put a piece of,
Right.
if
Or
Mark can get
something.
up there and see the hole, we can go up. Screw a piece
Patch
of
it.
plywood and have the slate fixed up above,
Right.
even if you gotta, I don't know, put a caulk
Something
into it
there,
or something, get something there, just the, yeah.
Block the open.
If Mark's willing to
Oh, he ain't going up there.
No, if he can get
He
the,
get it, yeah, I can have.
Get
it.
it. Get the information.
From the inside that we could put a sock or something, run it down, so when it is raining, it goes into something versus going onto the floor, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I did not go up there, so I don't know what it looked like, but
Yeah.
I would assume that you could, like the old house has a this
Yeah,
tin
right.
can, yeah. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
I don't know where it would go after it flooded out, but
You'd have to run it down into a trash can or something, empty it every so often.
the ceiling and
Up
over
here,
the,
yeah.
yeah, you can see,
That's what I
pretty
wondered,
good water damage up there.
that's what I'm saying, we may have
We
to get
need
a
to
piece of
get
plywood
something
to,
to plug it,
yeah.
even if it's just a piece of that
yeah, you can get that guy's
tar paper,
information.
that ceiling tar paper.
If anybody else has any roofers for information, if we can bring them to the next meeting.
Yeah.
Smith,
I don't think he does slate, but
Smith doesn't do it.
No.
yeah, he might
No.
be able to patch something.
Who, Bill
Slate, I
Bill
don't find anybody who does
Yeah.
slate, that's the
Bill
problem.
do it? Does he do it anymore?
They could put a pipe.
Standing
a
seam
vent
only,
pipe
I
in there
think.
And put a rubber. boot
Flash.
on it.
Could do that too.
Yeah.
That would- And put a cap on it, and that ends the problem too.
Yeah.
You have the venting
Yeah.
venting it up there,
It
like,
isn't going anywhere, just it's stuck through the roof.
which is what it sounds like, used to be there, and
Yeah.
it blew out,
Yep.
flew off, rotted, whatever.
I don't know Peter's last name. He bought the house next to my grandmother, the blue house.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
He did my roof. He went up there and replaced the vent pipe for my
Maybe
my
he
septic
did it,
vent
yeah.
pipe
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he.
Yep.
I wouldn't have done it, but he jumped right up there and away he went.
There you go.
Is the building vented on the gable end?
Okay.
No.
I don't think it is.
So that probably was the original
Probably
vent,
the original
attic
vent.
vent.
Yep,
Yeah, so you put a
I
piece
think
of
it's just the
PVC in
windows over here
right.
that are all shut, and I don't
I
think.
bet
there's
you you're
anything
right,
back.
Lance. I bet that was the original vent.
Nikki said that that's Peter, my neighbor, is the guy that's doing the library, so maybe he'd be worth
Yeah, looking at.
reaching out to the library and see, cause
Yeah,
he
revent it.
he didn't hesitate at all to get up on my roof, and if it's just a roof vent,
Yeah.
he did that in a couple hours.
Yeah.
So he, yeah,
Put that
Better get
rubber
it
bead
done
on
soon.
it.
keeps it local and it
Yeah.
gets it quick,
Yep.
so maybe he's worth checking into and seeing if he's willing to do that.
That's the guy.
One of the
that's
old
old house.
throw a rope over the
Peter's-
roof and.
Peter.
When
It starts with a P.
When
Yeah.
you said it tonight,
That go on,
I can't remember.
on Pete.
But Harvey knows.
I wouldn't. go up there.
Library.
We get up on it from a ladder.
It's not in the minutes. If you wanna go back through and watch the video after.
Or you could just
call.
stick your head in the library when Harvey's there and say, who's the guy doing the floor and she'll tell
Oh,
you.
okay, so she would know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Country.
Okay. Country club liquor license. We gotta sign it. Approve, yes or no? I am a golfer. I say yes. Anybody else?
I'm going to abstain because I work for them. Yes.
That's perfectly fine.
Was that a motion?
The motion to abstain?
No, from that you made.
Oh, the motion to get drunk. I guess if you want me to make an emotion, I
I
can.
can make a motion to,
All right, sweet.
what, accept the. I don't even know what I'm saying.
The liquor license.
To approve the liquor license for the Bakersfield Country Club.
Yes.
Okay, motion's been made. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I abstain.
And Todd abstains. And that to Tammy, please.
She came in and handed the paperwork in.
Yes,
Just
the
prior to
health
the meeting.
officer has already been reappointed and their signature and everything has been done.
Perfect.
Constable information update. I think Todd, this would be the time for you to.
So I attended the,
Meeting upon being asked to by the Eastbrook Select Board, they had representatives from Richford, Berkshire, Sheldon, Bakersfield, and I believe Franklin, but don't hold me to that one because I didn't recognize anybody from there. But basically what they did is they had a meeting, they're talking, they've met with VCLT. They met with the person that's their counterpart for the town office. And they also met with the retired chief of the South Burlington Police Department, who is the VCLT's guide, if you will, for police services. He recommended not using a town constable because there seems to be more issues than other things, and it gets into kind of a liability issue.
All time.
So it's that,
Any at all, or?
and, and they're using for the dog catcher like we do.
Yeah.
But, and he seems to think that they can write an administrative fine. Like what we do, if that's an administrative fine, they can do that without having all this stuff. If it's a, well, when they gotta go to court for, then they can't, because that's where they have to be a sworn officer of some sort. So Enosburg was looking, they've looked at, of course, just like Sheldon has, Richford has, because Richford and Enosburg currently contract with a local sheriff's department. They're not getting the services, so they say that they've asked for. So they're looking at the possibility of what other things. They checked with Vermont State Police, they can't provide anything right now. Sheriff's Department can't provide any better than they've got right now. So they're talking about forming a police department, and this is something that would be done over a time period. I don't think they're gonna just go out and put a massive police department in place. But the question we had was from Richford and the other towns is, would you guys consider, contracting with us similar to like the ambulance contract is for Bakersfield? And I said, well, I'll go back with this proposal. And one of the things I asked was Jesse Woods, who was one of the select board members and also the zoning administrator for the town. I said, Jesse, what did you do? And so he gave me his survey that he had done with his residents, and I just took that and put it together for Bakersfield only, put it out on the community website, and I've given each of you a copy of this is the responses. So we had a total of 44 people that replied back to the survey, and out of the 44, for Bakersfield's a safe community. They 33 said yes. So most of everybody said it is a safe community. However, they said that we really don't see police protection most of the time, never. So any kind of patrols. The other part I didn't mention is the 25 of these people answering were town people, 19 were village people. Just to give you a breakdown. The survey was on the community webpage. And a lot of people, the Facebook page, yeah. And they, yeah, and they really, like I said, I got a lot of good comments back from people. How do you rate the current overall quality of police services? Of course, very poor, or poor was where most of them answered. And then I asked, actually, what do you feel the greatest problems? And there's a list in here of what they are, anything from board teams to, drug issues, those types of things. Some of the homelessness, that type of stuff was there. And it had a pretty good list. And then if the town of Eastwood was considering the creation of police force, would, we'd be willing to contract. 32 of the people that took the survey said they would be willing to contract. And then I asked, well, what are you looking for if we contracted? Are you looking for full-time service, part-time service, or kind of a part-time with specific hours, like hiring 8 hours a week or something like that? That's where everybody kind of ended up. 19 of the respondents said part-time specific hours. And then I asked if you answered no on the question why, and it came down to monetary concerns like nitpicking enforcement. This is the thing Enosburg I even brought to their attention is everybody wants it, but the first person that gets pulled over for a speeding ticket, or the first person who runs that stop sign, they've always run for 100 years. And they get that ticket, and they say, well, why did you go do this to us? Because we're the ones that are picking up, not the people that we want picked up. So there's that double-edged sword, if you will. So that's kind of where it's at. I told Eastburg we would get back to them. It wasn't something that I felt there was a big rush on, but they were looking to see if we were interested. And I said I could tell them up front, interested means what's the cost going to be?
Yeah, I thought it was somewhere in here $1,500. What did I see that?
That was
Somebody else's, yeah.
Okay.
I can tell you that I think, and this is just a quote from, it's gonna cost $1 million to put a good police force together. When you talk about hiring the people that you need, your equipment, cruisers are 80 to 90,000 a piece to get a cruiser, your radio equipment, all this. So they understand the startup's going to be big. And I think that's why before they go, I see them hiring maybe a police chief to begin with and then working forward from there.
Did you have? We realize the startup's going to be horrendous. What's it going to cost to maintain this? police force.
That's the other question that they're still working on, so to speak. Yeah.
Here's my question. It's not the fact that we don't have a force.
Right.
There is a force, there's Franklin County Sheriff's Department, there is this Vermont State Police Department.
Right.
So what makes them think that just because they make an Enosburg police force, they're gonna be able to man this force?
That's the topic that came up there is we still got recruiting. And right now, and their hope is to recruit someone that's either getting out of law enforcement, you know, retiring from a full-time force, pulling someone from the full-time force that may want to move up or there's no movement where they are. Someone they hope to get people that are already certified because the cost of certifying that person is quite a bit as well. So I mean, this is in the infinite stage, I would call it, and it's in the discussion phase. I'm not sure, you know, I mean, I think they want to go forward with this, but there's all the same concerns I see here that I heard over there as well.
I kind of look at this like. We got 3-man crew down at the garage.
Yeah.
We can't get the roads plowed fast enough, so let's add a 4th truck.
Right.
When we can't hire somebody.
Right. Well, I know,
I don't have anybody to drive a truck.
right,
So what gives the truck do?
yes,
Adding another force to Franklin County.
right.
Great, we got another force, but we can't man the forces we got. So how is?
And I mean, they reached out to Swanton PD. Swanton PT said PD said, we'd love to do it for you. However, our budget's constrained and we can't find some people.
Yeah,
And St. Albans PD has, you know, they're taking back the town now, so that's gonna take up most of their force. It's, I mean, it comes down to, it would be nice to be able to contract with one of those other 2 entities that are in place, but it just isn't working out that way right now.
Well, and people, I remember.
Yeah.
When Sam was on the board
Yeah.
and the town
oh, yeah,
very handily said no.
yeah.
So I mean, it's,
I think,
Yeah.
I feel that living on 108 and we get those speeders, I
Mhm.
feel very strongly about the issue of speeding in Bakersfield. And I know some people don't see it. We've had 2 accidents in the last couple of months that involved speed and it's kind of scary.
It's not just speeding, it's break-ins.
yeah,
There are
Yeah.
issues for sure.
and that's some of what was brought out here,
And I
was
think-
that the thefts and.
There has to be, and this is
Yeah.
great and it's a good start, but
Yeah.
45 people out of,
Yeah,
you know, it's not a big
Yeah.
enough sample and I
I
think
agree, I agree.
we need somehow.
It was there, but
Could we present something like this at the, in November? When people are at the polls?
it's, it's just, this gets put together on a.
I've heard, but we don't have this.
Yeah.
But
No,
I know.
this end of this month.
Oh, I'd forgotten entirely about that, yeah.
They'll be here. That's still a number of people, honestly.
Couple hundred, I mean, you're right, this is great information.
Yeah.
But if it was as easy as putting together a police force,
Right.
the sheriff's department would be able to hire people.
Right, that's, I agree with you, Josh.
Because the sheriff's department hires
Right,
level 2
yes,
officers
yes,
to do,
yes,
when they babysit construction sites.
Yeah.
They hire those people.
Yeah.
They hire the people that only want to work 2 days a week. At this point, I'm pretty sure if you have a pulse and can pass the PT test, they will hire
mm-hmm. No, you're right.
Would he be willing to go through the training, and maybe do, you know?
you. Well, and that's the thing is, he might be willing to do this, but if he's willing to do this training for this police department, why wouldn't he just join the sheriff's department?
Right, that's my point, yeah.
And the other thing, Chris is he travels a lot.
Right,
yeah.
With his career. He probably doesn't even realize how open the sheriff's department is to a
Mhm.
part-time individual who would be willing to be.
Right.
I love this idea,
No,
but I just.
right. I just wanted to get a feel like you said, and
I think the biggest thing is, and it's still the same thing I said before, and it's. They're not gonna service us, they should give us the money back.
Yeah,
We've got plenty of places to
Yeah.
put that money.
no, I agree.
You're not gonna come up here and take care of us, and you're only gonna do it, once a month or once, a couple times a month. You can hand all of us back those dollars, the remaining 11 months out of the year that you're not doing anything for us.
So in his defense, Lieutenant,
Lieutenant Philip.
Yeah. in his defense, he said, if you call and we don't come, call us out on. it."
Right?
I don't know if the calls are being made.
I don't know if they're
They
called.
came today, but they were reluctant to come to the call today that we had down here on South. But they ended up coming because we explained what was going on and.
And I have no idea what happened. I don't
Right,
even know if
right.
you can
It
share.
was just, it was a medical event on the side of the road
Okay.
that ended up being nothing.
Okay.
That's about all I can say.
Nope,
And then,
that's-
but they ended up coming because they were interested in the parties involved.
Okay. Yeah, I think,
So I agree. I mean, it would be nice to say, I can hand you $50,000. But
Yeah, but what do you get?
Yeah.
you're probably gonna get 8 hours a month, you know, if you still on, yeah. So I mean, I just,
then
Well, the
you're,
last time we put it up for election, I think it was around $35,000. And that's about what it was.
Yeah.
Inflation being on it
Right.
is
right,
50,000 might or might not
If that
cover it
was-
now.
that was what, 20 hours a month.
right.
Yeah,
But is it-
yeah, but we lost the transport.
But yeah, it's that you travel to, now, I mean, that's the only thing in Williamsburg is it didn't talk about, but again, they're gonna be in Williamsburg, they're not gonna be in Bakersfield.
Right. Right.
So, yeah.
So I guess if, I mean. Obviously.
I just owe them some-
There are
yeah.
people here
Right.
that
Interesting.
have concerns that
Yeah.
if we need it. I think our first step in helping our town is to make it aware that the Vermont State Police have said,
Mhm.
we can't respond if there's not calls.
Right, that's very true, yeah.
So if there are issues.
Yeah.
Call
Yep.
them. I think
Yep.
that's where we've got to start. And
And,
then if we are saying, you know, look, Lieutenant, we have made 80 calls in the past 3 months.
right,
One of them has been responded to, there's an issue.
then we can
Then we have
go.
to stand on.
I don't know, I agree
Being
with
up here,
you.
being like, we're not getting any patrol,
No,
but we're not making any calls.
Right.
It doesn't look like we have any
And
issues.
so are those calls for things like, specific events like
mhm,
what happened today
Right,
and the
right.
break-ins and what
I
have you. It doesn't work for speeding. Because
no,
I've called
Yep,
and it was a guy who was going past my house at
mhm,
whatever it was, miles an hour, at 7:30 and at 5. And they
Yeah.
said, well, we're not gonna be able to have anybody up there before 8.
was it on a motorcycle?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
just, yes.
And unfortunately, we still are understaffed at St. Albans, still covering St. Albans and Grand Isle with the numbers he provided, which aren't a lot of people if you
No.
think about it.
I would like to, not immediately, but sometime in the relatively near future, try and get the community engaged in the speeding issue. I don't know how, I'm noodling things, but I
Yeah,
just
Make
feel.
speed bumps.
Yeah.
Or speed bumps.
State highway, we can't.
Put a speed bump in front of my house.
If it was a state highway, that's a problem. Any town highway, we could.
It's dragging it out.
Get a couple of high school kids, 4 on each side, and pretend they got a rope or a car's gonna.
Now, just one thing we can do is this, and not that it does deter a little bit, because I've done this at IBM and different places I work. Get the speed cart,
Yeah.
have the speed cart. put
And the
up the-
sheriff's department.
And if you do the one that has a little flashing white light, they think it's being copied sometimes. So it does slow them down. It really does. It does. Yeah.
We had talked about the flashing.
Yeah.
We talked about the flashing speed limits. I see them
Solar
now,
powered,
they're
yeah.
all solar powered.
Yep.
The problem is,
Is there
they're
grants?
not
out-
cheap.
Are there grants out there? for that? That's the truth.
Thinks they're gonna get a ticket
Yeah.
for flashing speed limit sign.
I've seen, yeah.
I think that's a good
a
one.
mile marked up outside the golf course.
Yeah.
Now for a whole season, and now people, even with the big snow we had, were flying up and down.
Oh, yeah. No,
Those signs aren't gonna do anything to you, but a cop there starting to write tickets.
But I think if we put it there and we show like we did for the study, you can show the speeds, that gives him a little ammunition to say, maybe we need to go up to Bakersfield for some safety checks.
And,
And so it's other state agencies that can get involved in that as well.
and it raises awareness in town of what the issue really is.
If you're willing to
Yeah.
make the call.
Yep.
The sheriff's department has told us anytime, I think that's what they told us last time we brought it.
Right.
Anytime, and they usually take the tow bar.
Right.
Whatever.
So you
call
can't
it,
take it, yeah.
And they leave it down to the shop,
Yep.
and what they tell us is, you can have it for a week or two.
Yeah.
And
Put it where you want it.
back usually moves it
Yep.
from one end
Yep.
to the other, just to, you've been willing to do that in the past, I'm sure.
Yep.
I'm not speaking for you, Mac, but can't tell if you're falling asleep.
Anybody can move it, anybody can move it's got a trailer.
Right, yeah.
That's the thing. Move it up by the. Right, right.
Well, I think,
Country club.
I think you
Yep.
could move it a couple.
That's why I say there's a few places, but yeah, I think it does work.
Especially this time of year, you know, everybody's coming out of the snow,
Yep.
everybody's a little,
Yep.
little froggy in the morning.
Uh-huh.
So it may be a
Yeah.
good time to remind people.
So would you like me to tell them on this here, would you like me to let Enosburg know at this time we're not interested? I guess that's, but I do want a response of some sort.
I hate to close the door.
Yeah, I see.
It will depend on how things develop in the
Yeah.
future. I think we should, if you have the time, I think we should continue to be a part of this. Okay, yeah, no, I will. I'll go sit in meetings and different things that they have.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll say the interest is there, but it all comes down to like we talked, money.
There's a lot of,
Yep.
there's a lot of.
All the moving parts to it, yep.
Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, again, if you're willing to call the sheriff's department and see if they're willing to let us use their speed card.
I'll call, Philippic, I think has one. Let me ask him first. If you have a meeting that is called and you are unable to go. Yeah. I would volunteer. Okay, I'll let you know one way or the other, yeah. Okay, that works for me.
So.
Actually, I think both of us can go too, because I don't think it's limited to one, because we're true, not all three there. I don't want to get everyone.
All right, I'm also gonna cross off the police section. that
Yep,
had it below
that's
just
fine,
because.
yep.
Renewal of village designation authorization letter signature. Just getting there, Danny. Give me that. At the last meeting, we discussed how we needed.
Yeah.
To give Linda the appropriate. Whatever you wanna call it, permission. To do the document for the renewal of the village center designation. We asked Tammy to type us up a little letter.
Mhm.
What I need is motion.
Signatures.
I make a
Second.
motion that we sign the renewal of renew the village designation authorization letter.
You're actually giving me permission to sign. There's a lot of signature.
guy, right?
Okay,
I'll second it.
motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nope.
Great. I'm gonna date this too, Dan. Oh, it's already dated. Never mind. Anything else there? And that. Municipal social media notifications updates. I think that was covered under.
You covered that
hashtag
with Tammy,
Okay.
with Sarah, yep.
Warrants and reports. Warrants are here, reports are done. I'm the only one left to sign there. Review of the mail. We have resignation letter.
That's all the stuff we get.
We have a MERP.
That's the no update. That's email I sent. Yes.
I was just gonna say it's from John.
So I sent out for them.
We have the posting for the grader. How come all the stuff in here is ours? All right. Post the fire. Randy. Matthew?
Yeah.
Curious about the moving forward with the situation in front of me, Smith Road. Although we have another storm coming, it will now contribute to in part of stalling completion of cleanup. And wind from the storm, future gusts are sure to move more trash off property. So this is referring to,
Where's
you can
Smith?
keep reading it. So it's the fire that happened on the avenue.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, okay, yes,
Road is-
yes, that's one behind it, yep, yep.
I was just talking to him.
Yep, he just wants to know what our thing is for getting that cleaned up.
Well, I actually just talked to the owner of that property who said they're in the middle of trying to get it finished so that they
Yes.
can get a new.
Yeah. Donated the excavator for him to tear it down.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
he said it's
Yeah.
pretty much a total loss.
Yep.
And not to go deep into his stuff, but we were just BSing because I know him from Ace.
Yeah.
He just said, it's devastating. The place is a total loss. They're cleaning it up. They're gonna try to, they've gotta find out if there's anything they have to do to put a new,
They have to get approved.
right, a new structure there.
Yeah.
Not so much, they're not building a building.
Another trailer, I think.
Another
Yeah,
trailer or fifth wheel. you
Yep.
say.
but he'll need a permit for all of that.
Uh,
Unless it stays on wheels, then he does it.
so you would not need that.
Right. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
well, you know, he's, like I said, he is cleaning it up,
Yeah.
you know, we do problems with the weather. It's a
He's,
little hard to
he's really good.
Right.
get stuff removed in
Yeah.
a snowstorm.
Right.
So yeah, outside of gracious eyesore, my concern is for the property septic. And its liability to not pollute the surrounding areas. I feel that is now part of the problem is gone. So let's capitalize on enforcing anything that needs to be. Need to hold these people accountable should they try to decide to reconstruct by way of camper trailer.
Didn't the health
on the
officer look at the sewage issue? I thought we went through that.
I understand his concern, but I'm not sure that's
It's
not a neighbor.
No.
Concern,
No.
it's not.
No.
As long as he follows
He's following, as long as he gets the required permits, he does what's required to do.
I'm sorry, guys, can we go one at a time? Cause I'm.
I'll be honest with you, they're all saying the same thing.
Yeah.
They're just.
We were, just follow the town ordinance.
Right.
And it's not so much this guy's job to make sure that he's
Right.
following town ordinances. I can understand that,
Mhm.
you know, as a neighbor, it's
Mhm.
probably not ideal, but as long as he's doing what he needs to do at the town level, there's nothing else you really can do. Michael Gahn, as of March 31st, has reached out again. I'm not gonna say any names, but I'll pass this on.
In this particular instance, Michael Gahn drew up the contract for the loan. And he did not include verbiage which is standard, that states the people accepting the loan or getting the loan were responsible for attorney fees.
Yeah, it wasn't put into the contract that they would get the legal fees. He has sent a bill trying to collect the legal fees. And my guess would be, since it wasn't in the contract, they do not feel they owe them, therefore they are not paying them.
I can't argue with that.
He's trying to do the town now.
No, there's no.
Let's get the town to be like, go tell them they owe me the fees. That's not.
Well, that's not for us.
He would have to have that.
Even if he did have it in writing, it's still not our problem.
Right. If he's a lawyer, it's on him.
So to lean on the property if he's worried about.
It's funny the lawyer didn't put his own fees into that.
Well, I mean,
I can understand that he
the
can't.
last sentence of this is, if they have paid and the mortgage has been discharged, I will probably write off the bill.
Right, so what he wants to do is put a lien on that.
Yeah, yeah,
So he-
that's exactly, yeah. Yeah, which.
I would bet, yes.
Yeah, he wanted us to get it from them and then.
It's a contract already signed. Right.
We can't, we can't do that.
Nope.
I have.
And Mike
zero
knows that.
intention
Love the
of moving
fact that-
forward with anything on that one.
Yeah, I agree with you on
They
that.
make their payment to us. They have not missed the payment.
Yep.
They actually paid extra. They came in. Technically, do they have two, or do they just have an updated?
Updated.
So they came in. Asked for the first loan, made their payments. Then, we're looking to expand their business, came and asked for an addition to their loan.
Mhm.
And a good faith payment made a larger
Mhm.
payment. As like, you know,
Right.
this is not gonna be an issue,
Right.
you're going to make this
Right.
payment. And we have not had any issues with them. If we were to have issues, it would be a different story, but.
For
Makes sense.
your ratification, this is from the RDAG Rural Development and Growth Grant. And it is the RDAG Committee's responsibility to make these loans. The RDAG Committee long since dispersed and fell to the Selectboard.
Another one of those fun ones we get to deal with when it comes up.
Actually, I'm the only one that was on the original
Probably on the
And-
original, I
and-
was gonna say, yeah.
It's all my fault, yes.
When we made that. Brigham update?
Brigham update, I have a meeting with their contract advisor and Northwest Regional Planning Commission and Franklin County Industrial Development Corp. On Thursday. It's a Zoom meeting. Also, I asked, in talking to someone who's interested in investing in the project, whose wife is an alumni
Mhm.
from Brigham, was interested in purchasing some chairs. And as we know, these chairs all originated from Brigham.
Right.
And I asked on a previous meeting,
How
can
much
we
do
sell those chairs?
Mhm.
Should we prepare to take them?
He gave us $100 for 2 sets of 4.
Perfect.
All right, my question is, because I already had approval to do that,
Right.
where do we put the money? It's only $100, but they're talking to people, other people, and other people have approached me.
Yeah.
And chairs, if we're gonna sell them, where are we gonna put the money?
Why not put them into the Brigham Restoration?
I was
Fund?
just gonna say, put it in that, that's what I
That's
was.
fine, but I need it.
Just need. to
Yeah.
have
It needs to be made official.
Yes.
Somebody get emotional.
Oh, I'm emotionally involved in the project, so
Make the motion, that we put the money from sale of the chairs into the Brigham Academy Restoration Fund.
I will second that.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed?
I still say we put it in the new chair fund and replace the chair.
That's my opinion. That's my opinion.
we got rid of it, we can pay for 2.
He didn't know I said that, and I just sat there.
Are you voting nay or yeah?
You know, I'm gonna vote nay.
That's fine.
I'm voting nay.
No passing 4-1. That's how the system works, man. You've got the right to say no. That's right. I mean, you were overruled, but you still got that right.
I have one.
We can take that away from you here.
Josh, I have one alibi.
You got one more day?
Yep.
Okay.
Going back to something you asked me to kind of look at was
Yeah.
the monument over here in the park.
Yeah.
Linda doesn't want to do this anymore.
Yep.
I made a phone call to Joe Paradis, had a nice conversation with him.
Good.
He had already called the ballot and several of the congressional delegation because Bakersfield has not been moving forward on this, getting his name added as a Vietnam veteran to that memorial. So I would like to do that. I've looked over the paperwork. I can see where he was a veteran. He had Bakersfield listed as his residence. So I would like to add it. What I need is permission to hire someone to engrave this. And the second part of that is I do have a committee. I've got some people interested that want to sit on the committee. So I want to get a meeting together with them. We're going to make an actual form. I found one from another community that I think we can use that will allow us to fill this form out, provide those DD 214s or the NGB 22s that you have saying you did serve during these times. And so
I
Hold up with his?
it was the reason of the DD 214. And if you look at it, his is back from 1968 or 69 timeframe. So the DD 214s were a little different than they are today, or maybe at the time the other people were in. It's just looking at it. It has residence in Bakersfield, Vermont. He was at Coronado or one of those places where he was stationed, but his residence was Bakersfield. He had land here. So I don't see a problem with recognizing him. So I told him, do me a favor. I'm going to recognize you. I'll bring it up at this board meeting. Do me a favor, we'll call the congressional delegation back and tell them we are working on this and that it has been resolved.
Yeah.
I guess this has been going on since Rupert was alive, so it's been a fight for a while.
Wow.
And I think just some of it is just a misunderstanding.
That's
Okay.
So
okay. I'll finish this for
Yes, ma'am.
DD.
BD 214, yeah, Delta 214 or NGB 22 if you're a guards
there-
person. Yeah. engineer plans could just look at that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just speaking it up while I'm still thinking about it.
Okay.
So I gotta find someone that does this, because I do know we did explain and I want to look at it. She said the last person that graded didn't do the greatest
Yeah,
job.
she also had 2 or 3 companies
Yeah,
that she got quotes from at that time.
yeah,
You might even be able to talk to Ivan Stone.
that's what I was gonna do is talk to
Um,
Ivan or call Adam Goss and see who Adam has engraved his.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure Ivan was a part of that also.
so I'll bring back a quote. I just wanted to give you an
Need a
update.
motion.
I don't think I do now. I'd wait till I find out what it's gonna cost.
Okay.
Cause I don't wanna have you say, up to 500 and that's $600, that type of thing.
But I
So-
think last time it was,
Wasn't anywhere near that.
yeah, no, it was like, maybe like, God, I wanna say it was like $5 a letter or something like that.
That's what it was.
So it's gonna be, yeah. Let me find out first. I mean, I told him we're working on it and I'll have it for the
Yeah.
next meeting.
because-
I'll try to get some quotes together. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
I told him we're gonna make forward progression on this.
and is there any others?
Not that I'm
Pending
aware of
that-
it, not that I'm
okay.
aware of it. I think that was the only one that Linda had, she said.
Okay, I was gonna say, let's just,
Yep.
that way. if-
So I'm gonna concentrate on this one, and then, once this form is developed, we'll put it on the new website.
Okay,
So that people can see it there and know how to actually apply it.
maybe,
But I think this is veteran informers, and there's some, in reading up, there's some towns that have. Just anyone that was a member of the guard like me for retiring with 30 years of service,
okay,
you would get put on a monument there as being a military veteran memorial.
right.
So I gotta find out, is this differentiated as a veteran foreign wars? Or is it just strictly veterans? And I think it's foreign wars, if I remember right.
I'm not even sure it's foreign wars.
It's, if I remember correctly, speaking to Linda, the requirement is that they had to serve in a war. So. in a
During
foreign-
wartime.
During wartime. So the Korean conflict, see, that's the question I have to ask, because the Korean was really not, it was a police action.
Technically, well, I
So-
guess Vietnam
Yeah.
eventually.
Right, that's why yeah. So I'm just looking at that, if someone's sort of overseas in some sort of conflict, they're gonna get added to that. I think that's the fair way to do it. Yeah. Because I can't find, I've looked everywhere and I, even in the email I got back from Linda, it doesn't really state. Where are the guidelines? And that's what I'm trying to put together as a set of guidelines, if you're gonna be.
Are you referring to the last deployment that our National Guard went on? It wasn't a war. It was-
Some was a police action,
Yeah,
but I mean, those guys served overseas and it was in a conflict of some sort.
you know.
Yeah.
I'd love to put a freaking huge monument out.
No, I don't.
Everybody
I
is
don't,
for it.
but I want to look at it and I think, yeah.
Um,
But that's kind of the way I understood it was more for, it wasn't for, because I think even Linda said that if you wanted to add a new monument, you could for all the veterans of the community. They didn't necessarily serve overseas.
okay. Yeah, if you wanna get, if you're.
Let's look at it, yeah.
together,
Yep.
maybe put some feelers out, see if there's any others that would, if you do have them come in,
We can do one-stop shop.
Have them come back 4 times, so.
Okay.
And just make sure that Mr. Burgess knows that
Yep.
we are working forward
Yep.
on that and he will be recognized by the town for his service.
The other question I would have that you may want to ask is because apparently what I'm hearing, and I didn't hear it before, was the last engraving we had was not all that great.
I want to go look at it and see, yeah. Yeah.
Fix it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna look at it and see.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it was something fixable. As it just wasn't the quality that the other one was,
I think that's what I get out of it was
Yeah.
quality more than anything.
Yeah, it's not that it's like
Right.
it's damaged, it's just.
Right.
that it
Well, I
wasn't-
meant fixable, maybe go deeper, put it on a different bevel if he has to, because of.
I'll have to look. Yeah.
Something to make it look better.
And like I said, I think if you reach out to Linda or Ivan.
Yep.
or-
I'll talk to Ivan because I know Ivan's been working on
Yeah.
it too.
You had another update on, sorry,
So thank you.
you had another update on Brigham.
Yes, a reminder that at our next meeting, April 22nd, our contract advisor and all the others involved will be here to discuss the Brigham project with the select board.
So I want to put a shame.
This is a regular business meeting. Okay, perfect. Yep.
I had him in for, I told him about 7:15.
Oh, that's fine.
Can we try to? Can we try to limit visitors for that one then, if we're gonna have?
Yeah.
Josh, you can't.
Well, I mean-
Because. Say things, they can listen.
I'm not saying like.
Yeah.
uh,
Other business, yeah.
Extra.
Yeah.
If somebody calls and says, we need to,
Now
I want to discuss this.
Yeah.
Can we?
Till we wait.
Yeah. Explain that we have a full agenda, and it would be great if they could wait one more meeting.
Right.
If it's do or die, then, you know, bring them in and just tell them it maybe 10 o'clock before we talk to them.
Yeah, what was it?
but
The other-
Nancy
I-
got-
Nancy Patch is on that.
That's right.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying. I know we have
Mm-hmm.
two.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a big meeting.
I've talked to Nancy before, and she can be very quick and to the point.
Yeah. Yep.
No, never.
I was reminded. Also a reminder that the public informational meeting, 5 o'clock, May 15th.
That's right, yeah. For the,
May
for the,
13th. 13th.
Monday.
Yes.
yeah, Monday, sorry, I said.
Before the May meeting.
Correct.
Yes.
Any others?
I have one.
Another other.
Go ahead, I don't want to stop you from your question.
So the constable information update. Take that off the agenda from now on.
Until Todd comes back from another meeting.
Leave it there.
So if Todd, leave it there for another one, you think? Okay.
Just, and then we'll know what.
Is someone gonna contact Chris and give him some of this information? Because he's got a lot of questions and he deserves to know what's happening.
I'm not so sure we really have any other information at this point, other than he is,
Continue the duties he's doing.
yeah, a glorified dog catcher.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, I don't even know if he knows he can do that, because the last he heard was when Terry said, you can't do anything. And that was enough.
I
Oh,
think, I
okay.
think Chris needs to come to a meeting and have a conversation with.
Yes, because he has
But
been,
not the next one.
Not that
So
he-
not
here's
the
the
next
next select board.
he's welcome at the next one. He will not be on the agenda.
Right.
Right.
May-
Did I say that right, Nick?
Yes, yes.
May 13th meeting, put him on, see if he can come, have him come and talk to us, yeah, cause
Yeah.
I mean.
Just, we need to explain to him the way that we're getting a lot of new information in.
Right.
We're trying to figure out exactly where this position is gonna go. And, or if this position is going to go anywhere further than glorified dog catcher. And as we get information,
To
he
do something.
has,
He just needs to know what.
Well, right,
To do
Like
the
he can
dog
write
catcher.
law.
He
Oh,
can,
the
he can
animal
serve
control.
paper. He can serve papers
Yep.
Control.
and he can do animal control. Those are the-
They're on the minutes from the last meeting. I read
I was gonna say,
Right.
well, was that the new updated one? Cause we have the new updated one in there on the thing.
Yeah.
So we will give him a copy of what that states he can do at that meeting and be like, there you go.
I would be very happy if you would give me a copy of the new updated one.
You can have one of them there and they're bundled.
Where?
And one
Underneath
suggestion,
where all of our stuff goes under. on the
Okay,
desk
excellent.
underneath there.
Thank you.
suggestion is where you reference. your minutes, call it an administrative fee, not a fine. And that takes away the reason. If it's a fine, then he has to.
So we need to change our,
Just change it. I think it's a verbiage issue.
yeah.
The administrative fee.
Love that game.
Yeah, I know.
So my other is, I was asked last meeting to talk to the Bronzes about the auditors positions. You remember? Carolyn said that her and Phil are. If we don't have someone to fill the position, they're willing to do it. They still need more training. You know, because it's a very large role and Vera was teaching them it. So, but if we don't have someone to fill the position, they are willing to take care of it this year.
And I think at this point, the only person we have there is Jason Bapp, correct?
I think Jason, wasn't somebody elected in? I thought,
So we
I
have,
think we have
It was
two,
one election, isn't there?
I think someone was elected
yeah.
in. Hang on, I'm trying
and
to,
ideally we have 3, correct?
Right, ideally we have 3, isn't
so it could be Carolyn, it could be Phil, it could be both of them, call it 4, but. Hang on, let me just see, who was that?
it? 3 odd number, right?
I think it, well, and I'm not sure that you can have. That may not be a compatible position. like a husband and wife.
Oh,
would not be
that's
able
true,
to
yeah,
hold the
you're right.
same
Yep.
as auditor.
Collusion.
Yeah,
Oh,
so I know my wife couldn't.
Yeah, it was on.
Well, and it's not,
Yeah.
who ran for that spot? I don't remember who ran, but they won.
Susan Wooden did.
Susan, so Susan would be one of the auditors.
Yeah.
That would be another.
Yeah.
And then one of the bronzes.
That would work.
Yep.
You just want to reach out to Carolyn and tell her that we have one spot open for the two of them, whichever one likes it more. We would very much appreciate it. Well, I mean, honestly, I don't know who's gonna jump up and take it. We had one person run, they won.
You never know, somebody might come
Tammy,
walking
are
through
you
the door and just be
interested?
like, hey, look, I wanna audit this
Are
stuff.
you sure? It sounds very interesting.
On it, everything you guys do here. There might be some people out.
Josh, I mean, ultimately it's you, but I think we should reach out to them.
I would, how about we reach out to them and explain the situation? At this point, we have two, which leaves us one vacant position. If nobody has stepped forward by the time an auditor is needed, if they're willing to fill that position, they would be welcomed warmly.
Find
How's
out,
that?
even interested.
No,
No.
I would say
Yeah,
one of
only
the.
one.
Yep, just one of them.
That may change their mind.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry.
Any others?
Just a motion.
I'll make the motion, we adjourn.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
You seconded, John?
I did. I didn't think that.